So this is Andrewtate debate, modern woman, sources, I guess.
Yeah, I'm here to educate, as I always am. Perhaps somebody will say something remotely insightful, but at least I get some in time, if not, so I'm chilling with Lauren.
And it's your girl Esther, the Nigerian queen. I'm here to entertain, to disagree with somebody in here.
Oh, Auntie, she's
Sorry, really, I am looking at somebody. But
So I want to disagree here.
Just, yeah, get some time. And in terms of my relationship status, I am single, doing interviews. I'm not just going for anybody. But yeah, that's how it is.
Auntie Jenny here, 54. I'm here to cut out the bullshit. Simple.
I like that.
Okay.
I like that.
Thank you guys.
Bet you do.
Yeah, we just cut the bullshit. That's the problem with the world today. It's too much bullshit.
And they're not direct. If they've got something to say to you, just say it.
Why are you being mean already?
If you've got something to say, just say it. Don't beat around the bush. Just say it.
So basically, I'm saying,
Just say it. Just say it.
Hey, Auntie, I beg, give the girl a chance to speak now and relax.
What girl? What have I said?
This one.
What have I said?
So I'm speeding up the video a bit.
If there's something to say, just say it. Don't beat around the bush. If you've got something to say to me, I am here. Talk to my face. There should be no elephant in the room because this ain't no zoo. You understand? So if you've got something to say, just say it. No, I'm just saying. We're just all big people here. So if I'm going to say something to you, I'm going to say something to you straight like I normally do. If I've got something to say to Esther, I'm going to tell Esther. Whether she likes it or not, I don't really care. Andrewtate, my son's older than him, so I don't give a damn who he is. I'm going to say what I've got to say. So whether I like it, that's come. Don't come.
You missed out Brittany. I feel picked on.
Okay, so
And Brittany too, right? Even Pearl too. Feel better now.
Auntie gave me Auntie was yelling at me in wife school the other day, so she doesn't give a shit. Okay, so my first question is, what is the number one problem facing men today, and what is the number one problem facing women today?
Say something.
No, one problem.
The number one problem with men is that they don't tell women the truth, and the number one problem with women is that they can't handle the truth. Simple.
That's a good paradigm to start from, because it's actually very interesting you say that. A lot of women say, I just want a man who's honest, and then the second you're honest, she's like, what? You just what? It's like, well, then don't ask me for honesty. Of course I fucking lie.
Thank you.
So that's a good point. I agree with that one. I don't think it's the biggest problem, but it certainly is a problem in relationships today. That is a problem. The biggest problem with men today is that I think the world has become
Conflicting
most men
with
are
each other.
aware and understanding of how quickly there's going to be a genuine shift in between those who have things and those who do not have things. Not just finances, but also female status, everything else. And it's a status game, right? And it's becoming harder and harder for men to play. And that's all women's fault, of course. Because no, it is because women choose the winners, right? Women choose who the high status males are. So women pretend to give a shit about men. Of course they don't. They give a shit about themselves. And a woman, if you ask her what she wants from a man, she's like, I don't want much. I just want to find a nice man who's a millionaire and 6 foot tall and funny and charismatic and interesting.
Yeah, it's just younger women, so
good looking and strong. I don't want much. Like they name all this shit that most dudes are never gonna have, and it's becoming harder and harder. And you end up with people, top G's, who own everything on the planet they could ever possibly wish for, and then you've got other guys who have nothing. There's this large divide. There's no longer any middle ground. You have dudes who can't get any pussy, and then you have dudes who are just blocking girls left, right, and center. And that's what the problem with being a man is today.
What about the women?
What about them?
Well, I would say, well, everybody's got a chance to talk.
I'm gonna shut up and have my time.
No, I want to know. I want to know from you, sir.
You want to learn from me?
I wanted to answer. I feel like it goes for both. It's not just one or the other. I feel like it's self-accountability.
Women are not accountable for themselves. I agree with you there.
Why just women though? What
It's
about
both.
men?
It's
Yeah,
both.
it's definitely both.
It is both. You're right.
Okay.
But society punishes men for not being self-accountable. Society does not punish women for not being self-accountable. I'll give you an example. If you're a man, you're arrogant, and you think you're something when you're not. Trust me, society will teach you very quickly that you don't matter when you don't get laid and you stay fucking brokey. If you're a chick and think you're something when you're not, you can run around with your ego, still get dates, still get laid, still have a fairly sensible social life. Society as a whole doesn't come along and slap you in the face with realizations. If you're a man and you think you're something you're not, it is a ticking time bomb until society teaches you a lesson. That's the difference. This is why men in general are more self-accountable, because men who are not self-accountable get fucked up. So those who are successful are very self-accountable people. They look at themselves and go, okay, the only way I'm going to get and progress further, the reason she left me, the only way I'm going to do better, make more money, etc., is I have to change. Most women don't want to do that. They don't sit and think I have to change. They think, oh, he left me because it's him, and I lost my job because my boss, and this is because of this.
it's from his personal experience.
No, don't forget what you're forgetting right nowadays. They can't change it because it's all about body positivity. They can look sexy at size 28.
Are you saying Lizzo's not a 10?
You guys are going to be cancelled.
See, I don't agree with what you just said, because 90% of cosmetic surgery is by women. Women are trying to change as much as possible. Men don't want to change. They're not accountable for themselves. They think that because they're a man, you're going to be attracted to them. No, like you can't be fat. You stay at home. You're just playing video games, and you expect a woman to want to fuck you. No, she's not going to want to fuck you.
Yeah, but then she won't. This is the point. And then she won't, and society will teach them a lesson. They might go to pull off a little blag with a girl for a year or so, but in general, they're going to end up lonely. In general, they're going to struggle to find partners. I agree with you with the cosmetic surgery thing. Women are happy to change how their appearance and change how they look, but they're not happy to change how they act. Most of them, they're not happy to change how they're not.
The women are changing
How
what the
they
men don't care
act.
about. The men don't care about the big old lips.
Yes, they do.
And the women are doing that for themselves. Because the men don't care about it. The men would rather a woman change her stinking attitude than put on all that makeup on hair and everything. That's what the men want. But the women go out there like, oh, I'm going to change this, I'm going to change that. If you look at a man and the man said, yeah, he's fat. The man almost, if he's feeling bad about himself, he wants to make, say, he'll go and hit the gym. What's the woman going to do? Go and do? Get a BBL, get her lips done, put on her makeup, put on her hair, and stay the big old fat person that she is and say, oh, it's body positivity. The men don't even want that. And the women are not getting all this cosmetic surgery for the men. They're getting it for themselves. You got to turn around. What man wants a woman that's going to turn around, don't have an operation, they can't sit on a plane because her arse has been injected or been interfered with. She's got to lie there on her stomach. You think the men want that? Or wake up in the morning before you got to hit the house. She's got to put on. I'm sure I worry about some of the men because they must go out with a woman. And then when they wake up in the morning, they think, who the hell is she? By the time you take everything off, women need to change their attitude before they change their makeup. I'm sure that even more than that, change your attitude. Because women go out there and they want to change this, want to change that. All the things that don't count. If you learn to, the same way women go out there and learn to put makeup on.
Just yes, I did it, huh?
That's outdated, girl.
She's right.
For who?
I'm saying it's like we had literally just talked about this off camera when you got here from the airport. We were talking about what's the value system or the point system for a woman who cooks versus a woman who can suck good dick and fuck well.
But you can cook and suck dick as well.
No, what I'm saying is that Pearl, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but quoting her was that when she interviewed people on the street, that there was more points given to something like a sexual return as opposed to wash my hands in the dishwasher. Why cook? We can eat out. There's a chef. People don't give a fuck about that.
That's what they think.
We literally just talked about this yesterday.
No, it was okay. I did a street interview and I asked the guys, would you rather have a girl that gave good head or a good cook? And most guys
They want this.
But I think
For the quick
I think
satisfaction.
that's more for like a one night stand.
But what I'm trying to say is that if you all the women out there and they're talking about, well, some of the women want to be settled down, they want a man, right? And you got to think what the man wants. The man ain't interested in that. Look at when you're doing street interviews, you're interviewing single people. Look at the people there that are happily married and ask them what they do. Because all the things that the women out there doing, you can be a housewife, you can be going out, you can suck head just as good as any old tramp on the street. And keep your man and have a man. And I can say that because I'm 32 years in counting.
Auntie, you can't say attraction's not important. No. You can't say attraction's not important.
It is
Initially,
important.
initially, exactly. A man is not going to find you attractive and then think, oh, because you can cook well. It's got to share.
A man's going to find you attractive and
Okay, let's ask Andrew.
Would you be with a girl that's 5 out of 10 because she can cook?
Well, firstly, that's not what she said, to be fair. And second, I'd be with a 10 out of 10 who can cook because I'm top G. But to make the point, I think what you have to understand is what men are looking for in a relationship. So you did the street interview and you're asking single people, probably young people, probably idiots, who know they're on camera talking shit about good head, all this garbage. bullshit. What men are interested in life, not just in a relationship, but in their life as a whole, is status. I don't think most people understand, especially women, how competitive the male world is and how competitive it is for status. This is why men do everything they do. Men buy the faster car, not to drive any faster because of status. That's why we want a bigger house. We don't give a shit where we live because of status. That's why we want to go to the gym and get big and strong because of status. Everything we do is about status. That's why we want the better jobs, why we want more money, why we want to be respected. So what's the number one thing we want a female to give us? Status. That's what we want. So she can give us status by being beautiful. That's one thing she can do. But another thing she can do is if I turn up home and I come home with my boys and she says, I'll cook you all a steak. That's status. That's all my boys doing. Ross, you just been out all night and she's here and she's gonna cook for all of us and she'll clean up and tidy up. That's the kind of girl a man's not gonna want to lose because it makes him look good. That's what men want. Status. Suck a dick, blah blah blah. Listen, they can only be sucked in so many ways. I mean, no, let's be serious about this. This is actually a serious point, right? This is a
not
very serious point.
average male.
In real time, it's a failed society. One of the reasons it's a failed society is because of the over-sexualization, especially females as a whole.
He's just talking about the top percent of
I
men.
don't want the best sex I've ever had. I want you to be pure or a virgin. You should know what sex is. Cook my fucking dinner. Shut up. Don't go and talk to me about fucking sucking dick. It's vile. It's disgusting. I don't want to hear that shit.
Can I say
I don't want to
something?
hear that shit. What I want is one that makes me look good. No one
Really?
talking about sucking dick can make me look good. So I lose interest completely and utterly, and that's the truth. So what she's saying is completely correct.
He's just
The whole thing
shaming
is not about the act,
all
yes,
the
of
men.
course. It's about the status that comes with it. That's what it's about.
Sagittarius spoken like a true one. That is true.
He talks openly about sex.
So
What?
basically, it's a straight shooting sort of conversation. But I think that sometimes we get distracted and we talk about the big between men and women. I think that the problem that men and women have is the consequences of the bad decisions that the 1% of powerful men make on our behalf. Because our problems are on a societal level less than between woman and man. That is why there's a lot of competition between men. This chase for status that they will never get. Men,
Why is that the fault of the 1% of men?
because they're the ones that drive the machine that runs this. The West
It's always been that way.
Yeah, but then think about the men that are at the top now, the corruption and everything that's going on. And this is why it feels very good to sit next to somebody like you and just say, do you know what? I appreciate that you say things that are really true. You expose a very toxic truth and a very true truth as well that is out there. But the reality is, on the trenches, when you go to the grassroots, people don't feel the way that you feel. It's not as simple as what you say. They are victims of this system. So my job here is really not to try and make it about men and women. It's to make you understand that actually we need to start changing the
You
narrative.
don't want to make it about men and women.
They're both messed up on either side.
Because then women look bad.
No, because it's about everybody together. Women have their traumas, men have their traumas. I'm not here to fight against men and women. That's
I
small.
understand what you're saying. But the idea that this 1% of men have created this terrible society. Yeah, I talk about that. I talk about the Matrix. I talk about these things. But it's always been this way. It's always been a small elite group of men who are in charge of the world. And unfortunately now we're fighting battles in different ways. The days of old, a man proved his worth by going to war. Basically, every man at any point in his life was going to end up going to war. He came back victorious. He came back with honor. He got himself a wife. That's how it worked, right? Now men don't have to go to war as much depending on where you live in the world. And it's slightly different. And we fight our wars in other ways. And one of the true expressions of testosterone and trying to really express your ability and your compatibility now in the modern world is power and influence. So in the olden days, you go to war, you come back with a ribbon. Nowadays, you got X amount of followers, you can move the world with money. I can bend reality with money. Please understand. If I walk into Jimmy Choo, they lock the door. No brokies allowed in. Tate's here. And I'm about to there's lines outside.
I'm not sure about
I bend
that.
the world with money. That's
He
how I
just
bend
got
the world.
arrested, so
You're talking about high status males, and it's always been that way. Now you have a whole contingent of men who aren't dead. Okay, they didn't die in a ditch, but they're lonely as fuck jerking off. And that's the reality of it. And women don't give a fuck about it. But why should you? I'm not sitting here actually shitting on women anyway. I think women have a biological instinct to a degree to try and find the best mate they can because it gives them the highest chance of survival in the harsh realities of the world. And if they look at men,
think
okay,
power
they have attraction to them. And that's the bottom line.
influences
And that's why
everything.
I'm largely misunderstood. I don't blame women for a lot of the problems. Women are guilty of certain things. But
You
I
can
don't
just
blame them
commit
for
crime.
because there's so many men who are genuinely incompetent. I got to check out and fuck these losers either. Like they're losers. So it's hard.
Balance. I love it.
Do you know what I understand? Why people always go for the 1%? All the women want to rush for the 1%. Why don't you just find a regular 9 to 5 person? So look after you, you can be his queen. Why can't you just do that? Why is everybody rushing? Oh, man, we don't go on social media. Who went for about social media? 9 to 5, I've got around property, 32 years, happy as Larry. What is the problem? It's old fashioned, it works.
No, Auntie, let me clarify. When I meant 1% is not the 1% of attraction. I mean the actual people that are in charge of the things that run the world the way that
What I'm
it
trying to
does.
say is that it's always been an umbrella we've lived under.
But
And
the
then the
difference is-
functioned underneath it. So why is it going to affect me?
I'll explain why. Because as Sir Mr. Andrew King Tate said, as he said, thank you. I'll have this one after this point. Wait, it is. I've been drinking lime juice as well. So as he very rightly said, society is now evolved. Before men went to war, now men don't go to war. So there's a lot of sense of no purpose that they need to find. And then on the women's side is that the same way that society evolved, they make men feel less purpose. They have now had to take on bigger purposes. They have to go to work like they didn't have to.
Who wants to
before.
go
They
to
have
war?
now
What the heck?
these things and now deal with the fact that men are feeling a little bit like out of,
Who
you know.
usually likes going to war?
You get a 9 to 5 person, right? What is wrong with you going out there, find a regular 9 to 5 person, right? You can function
Nobody
underneath
likes
it. And
one.
oh, we ain't got enough money. We ain't got enough money. Work with what the man's got.
You're right.
Work with what the man's got. You can make a manual alpha. Everybody wants to go and find these top earning money. Find a 9 to 5, work regular, save your money, learn to cook and have takeouts, and then save your money as I did before.
Then you should direct this to the men that feel upset because they're not like
It's always
Andrewtate.
that something to the man.
No,
Why?
she's completely right. I'll tell you this. There's not a girl on this panel or on the planet today who couldn't walk outside and find a man who's gonna be nice to her, loyal to her, and make her his queen. Women don't want that. So they'll sit there and go, no, I want Chris Brown. And then they'll go try to get Chris Brown. And Chris Brown will cheat. And they're like, I can't believe he cheated. I'm devastated. Well, what the fuck do you think's gonna happen? If I go to the car garage, right, you have to make a decision what you truly want in your life. If you truly want to just find a man who's gonna look after you, take care of you, be his queen, he's gonna be loyal, you can find that all day, but you're gonna have to settle to a degree where a lot of women perhaps are not prepared to do that. You see how women act. They'd rather chase a fraction of a real G's time than have 100% of the time of a fucking dude who they don't respect at that level. And it's kind of going to a car dealership. You walk in there, if you want reliability, you can get a Nissan. But if you want to get a Ferrari, it comes with headaches. It's gonna come with problems. So when girls say to me, oh, you know what, Andrew, you know, you should be loyal.
How should they headache, huh?
And you know that. So why the fuck are you here trying to tell me what to do? Because you know I don't have to be loyal. All girls fucking don't have to be loyal. So why are you sitting here pretending you expect me to be loyal when everyone knew from ground up day one it was never going to ever fucking happen? And you're still here. You're still texting me.
They're going to be the one that changes you.
Well, no, yeah,
That's the biggest mistake the girls make.
Whose fault is this? This is the female decision. They sit there and decide, no, I want this. Cool, then you're gonna have to accept it. He ain't gonna be loyal to you. He's barely gonna reply to you. That's the game.
They like getting cheated. I swear to God, this show has made me believe. I think women like to be cheated on.
I don't.
I swear to God, because all y'all ever talk about is your exes that cheated on you. That's all y'all ever talk about. And it's like,
Who only
that's
talks about that? The regular women that run here.
the women that come on the show.
Oh, good thing I'm a regular and extraordinaire.
But do you not think it's because we're not holding men accountable? So when a man, because he's a top G, cheats on a woman, it's like, well, what do you expect? When you should actually turn around to him and say,
Accountable for his natural evolutionary biology.
is cheating morally correct?
Yes.
Depends.
Yes,
How can you
okay.
say, how can you say that? Are you
You're okay
joking?
with your woman cheating on you then?
Absolutely
Actually,
not.
because
When she cheats on you, but you can cheat on her.
There's not been in the history of humanity across any culture, any book, any story, any fable. There's never been across the history of humanity any respect on the name of a promiscuous
back to the evolution.
You name the biggest conquerors that you can possibly name from history: Genghis Khan, Alexander the Great, all of them. They all had 100 wives, bunch of children, big G, conquered the world. Normal. That's normal evolutionary biology. That's how men are designed to be. There's never been a single female who's been celebrated for a promiscuity.
Men are designed to be, huh?
So yes, we are completely and utterly different. Yes, it's different if a woman cheats on a man, and if a man is at a complete top level of his life and ticks every single box, and if he decides to be loyal, which some do, and I can be loyal, and I have been loyal, but there's also times in my life where I think, fuck it, I don't want to be, and get a new girlfriend every single day of the week. I can do that, and I can decide to do that. If a woman decides to do the same, purely because her value is high enough to attract so many males, because she's beautiful, for example, it is completely different. And I'm going to explain to you why it's completely different, so buckle up. It's different. It's different. It's different. Well, I'll tell you why. It is impossible for a female to be promiscuous on a long enough period of time without devaluing herself, because she's fucking people she shouldn't be fucking. There's no way she is sleeping with endless men, and all of them are either high-value men or treating her the way she should be treated. If you find a woman who slept with 50, 100 dudes, she's either fucking dudes which aren't at her level or haven't worked hard enough to try to get the pussy, she's just too drunk to realize he's a loser, plays video games, or she's fucking a top G who barely texts her back. So either way, she's fucking dudes she shouldn't be fucking, or a guy who's at the level who doesn't give her the right amount of attention. For a woman to find a guy who's truly on a level, who truly treats her the way she should be treated, that's once every couple years, if that. You ain't just gonna go out there fucking a new dude every week and say, yeah, he's worth pussy, yeah, he treats me good enough to get my pussy.
Yeah, so I agree with that.
It's actually beautiful about the universe because it's equal and opposite forces. When you devalue yourself, it's kind of like men can smell it on you. They can just look at a bitch and go, oh. And that's the way it
Smell
works.
on you?
But does this man truly deserve to fuck me? If you think about it, the answer 99% of the time, especially if you're promiscuous, is no. So when a woman is sleeping around with all these men, she's devaluing herself. She's devaluing herself, and the world knows, God knows, the universe knows. When a man does it, he doesn't devalue himself at all. That's just the way it works.
Can I ask you a question? Wait, Esther, 1 second. Sam, may I ask you a question? What would you say if a woman now is married to 2 men?
Haram.
Why?
No, I'll tell you why. Let's talk about this. What is the difference between a man, let's say me, I have 4 wives, right? What's the difference between a man having 4 wives and a woman having 4 men?
You can impregnate the 4 wives at the same time.
You can impregnate the 4 wives at the same time and we know who the parents are, right? So let's say you have 4 pregnancies, you know who the mother is, she's carrying the baby, and you know who the dad is, top G. If you had a woman with 4 men and she gets pregnant, who's the parents?
What about if...
But no, I'm asking.
Okay,
You know?
I asked what if they're different races?
Answer the question. Answer the question.
You don't know. Now, modern science can come along and maybe fix that for you, but that doesn't mean it's not wrong in the eyes of God. The idea of having a family, the idea of a child being born, one of the baselines for a new life to come to this planet is for at least to understand who the 2 people who made it are. At least. If you have a woman fucking 4 dudes, you don't even know who got her pregnant.
So may I just say...
Have you seen the twins that had 2 different dads?
Oh, yeah, I saw that. May I just say something then? So if that is the case, yeah, if the one thing that you're meant to have is, at least you know who the 2 people that put that child on earth are, then that's why promiscuity for men is also a problem, because they get women pregnant, sometimes they don't even know they have children. That's around, no?
No, it's completely different. It's different because you have to understand, I'm talking about humans. You look at humans from a
Actually,
society perspective,
different, huh?
society's changed, right? So let's say 200-300 years ago, if a woman got pregnant, she needed a man to survive. If that man didn't take care of her during pregnancy, she was going to die. She couldn't work a job, she couldn't hunt, couldn't fish, whatever, right? A woman literally
He's put
needed
to
a man
survive, yeah.
So if you were to come to me and say I'm pregnant, but you've been fucked by 4 different dudes, I'm like, who says this is mine? Why am I looking after you? None of them will look after her. She will literally perish. This is why most of the world today, still today, virginity is so coveted, and throughout all history it's been so coveted, because that's the only way to ensure paternity. She's a virgin, I know that's my baby. She ain't a virgin, prove it's mine. Outside of this modern science bullshit, shaitan, the devil we have here in the West, and most of the world today, without virginity or at least a low body count or at least anti-promiscuity, you can't tell that that's your baby. So it's a completely different
Low body
thing.
count.
A woman being pregnant coming to a group of men saying, one of you has to take care of me, put up with me.
Can you actually trust that?
And all the men are sitting there and go, no, fuck no, prove it's mine. You can't prove it, bounce. Well, it's different. If I get 4 women pregnant, we know the deal.
Okay, so let me ask you a question. So obviously back then for survival, women needed a man, otherwise when they were pregnant, they could die and all these things would perish. In today's society, given evolution, given the fact that as women we can go
Still
again.
men.
Yeah, but I'm not saying that. Isn't there a glitch between what's actually happening and the nature of what we have in our bodies? I think that's probably the conflict that we're having right now.
Glitch in what way?
In the sense that women don't feel like they need men in the most physical sense, perhaps
That's
like
right.
naturally.
It's very interesting. Women don't feel like they need men in a physical sense because life is soft, but it's bullshit. And it's bullshit because you still need men by proxy, 1. And 2, the second life gets difficult, you very quickly learn how much you need men. But women go, I'm independent, I don't need no man, I have OnlyFans and men pay my OnlyFans, and anyone comes up to me, I'll call a male police officer, I don't need men. Shut up, you fucking idiot. Of course you do. Your whole life is based on fucking men. The road you're driving on was paved by a man. The house you're living in was built by a man. The car
Okay,
you're driving
the-
was designed by a man. Your whole life depends on men. And the second anything bad were to happen to you, the second you were physically threatened, or times were to get hard, or war would start, or famine, or riots, the first thing you do is find a big strong man, shit yourself,
It's done with the woman, though.
the second that the snow needs shoveling, or there's a fucking broken down car, or the tire needs changing, then all that crap vanishes. It's garbage. And this is the actual very interesting thing. I'll make a point here, which is going to get canceled again. I don't give a fuck. But this is the point. Feminism in and of itself
How is
can't
going
defend
to
any idea
go
of women
banish
that
what?
believe in it. This has been the whole point of war since the dawn of time. It doesn't matter if it was the Christians against the Hindus, it doesn't matter if it was the Germans against the French. There were people who had ideas and ideologies and they were prepared to fight each other to defend their ideology. Feminism is an ideology which cannot be defended by feminists. The only people who can defend feminism are the men who subscribe to the garbage. If all the feminists were to get in a line and say, we want feminism, and the conservative men were to get in a line, you'll learn very quickly it's bullshit. I had a friend in Afghanistan when Taliban kicked America out, and he told me the Americans were telling the girls they could go to school. So they built all these girls' schools, and they split the Afghanistan Defense Forces there, and they funded the Afghanistan Defense Forces to protect these schools. You had American satellites, you had night vision goggles, Taliban were afraid to attack. America leaves, now you have Afghan Defense Forces, they're basically blind. They don't have satellites anymore, they don't have night vision, whatever. So now it's a real war. The men are standing next to this girls' school, the Taliban are coming. You're some dude, you're standing there, you look at this girls' school going, I don't really give a fuck if girls go to school. Bounce. And you didn't fight. So that's why they all gave up and Taliban took over so quickly. And when I said this, the girls like, yeah, they could have fought for us, feminism. Why don't the women fight?
Can I ask-
Oh, wait, the women can't defend their own fucking idea. You need men to defend feminism. So that's why the whole thing is stupid.
So-
the second men don't defend it,
He
it
doesn't
defends the
want
fucking
women to
ideology.
go to
Now,
school.
so this is the thing. This is when we assume that women perhaps don't have the physical or even mental ability to go to a
Assume?
war.
Assume?
Wait, because this is the thing. For example, when you
Actually,
pray,
interrupting.
in fact, I'm Angolan. Wait, I'm Angolan. Wait, I'm Angolan.
Don't lie to
Listen,
people at home.
wait,
Interrupting
no,
Andy.
that's
You
not
wanna go to
story.
war? You
No,
wanna fight
wait,
for
let me
our
tell you something. This is the thing. I think it's also really like silly to assume that, for example,
Let her
because she didn't go
speak.
to school, she'll not be as intelligent as a man. Therefore, naturally, a woman is not intelligent. No, it doesn't make sense. If we're now starting to normalize equality and we want to put everybody in the forefront, give a woman a
Who's
gun.
normalising equality?
Well, that's what people are wanting. Then let me
People
tell
like
you,
who? Who wants
Auntie,
to normalise equality? People like who? Feminists. Who
No,
wants to-
well, actually, no equality. I want respect. That's really
No,
my
stop you from getting respect.
No,
I get respect.
Actually,
I get
trigger.
respect.
I get respect.
So
That's
you
what I
just
want.
want
What I think is,
You never know what you
I'll tell you what I
want.
want.
You want
As a woman, I
respect.
carry myself differently. I actually hold the things I've done in the fights I fought. I hold it. That's why when you speak to me, I don't move different. I move different to many of the girls. That's why when you talk to me, you argue with me. I don't
argue
argue.
with
You do
I
sometimes.
argue.
And I'll tell you something. A lot of women may have the accolades to be somebody, but they're uncomfortable to own that. And the reason why, then I would like to ask you, for example, I
She
feel
getting
a man for
paid for
to,
this
procreate. But other than that, I'm quite strong. And I would
by
find a way
Andrew.
to protect myself differently. With that mentality, what would be the mentality for me then?
Donaldo, what would you do if one of these security guards broke into your door?
What would I do? Okay, I'll tell
What would
you.
you do?
One,
I'll
I'll tell you. No, I'm not a feminist. I'm not feminist. I'm a bit smarter. Either I play dead. One. Yeah.
Okay, they see you're not dead.
It's okay.
They
No,
see
I'll be
you
like
breathing.
this, and then if not, maybe I would kind of like be very gentle and comply to find a way to get out of it.
Okay,
If they want to come and kill me, there's not much many people
let's
can
make an
do.
important point. You're talking about equality, equality, and respect. The way you get respect as a woman is by being feminine. There's nothing. We can be equal and very, very different. I'm not saying that there's not equality, but you confuse equality with the same. You can be equal with completely different things. You can have a bishop and a knight on a chessboard. They're equal in terms of points, but they do different things, right? A woman can have equal respect to a man if she's very good at being a woman, and a man gets respect for being very good at being a man. When a woman decides she wants to act like a man, or a man wants to act like a woman, that's where all gets fucked up. We've tried to say it's not the same. Men and women are good at different things. We have different strengths, different weaknesses. There's nothing wrong with accepting that. There's nothing wrong with saying I'm a woman, I'm good at X, he's a man, he's good at Y. Then we work together as a team, we have a beautiful family, we're happy forever. It's only confused where you have women who sit and go, no, because in the name of equality, we can fight and war. There's no fucking women on the front line in Ukraine. That is psyop bullshit. They put some chick there dancing around with Pokemon dances to try to convince men to go fucking die in the ditch. It's garbage. If you go to the front line in Ukraine right now, you do not see women in their makeup and their manicures. You see fucking men in the freezing cold dying. You know where the women are? Dubai, chilling. That's where the women are. So to sit and pretend that women are just as capable physically
Only
as men
in
is
Dubai,
delusion.
huh?
To say you're as strong as men is delusion. You are good at other things. You're better than men at a lot of things, but it's not the physical world. And the unfortunate reality about life, this is what we're saying. When I was saying earlier, feminism goes out the window when things get hard. The harder the
I
world
think
is,
a lot of men go to war.
the unfortunate baseline of humanity is violence. That's what happens. If all the electricity were to go out and all the police were to quit, this would become a violent place very quickly, and there would be fucking zero feminists left. Zero. You would all need men. That's the bottom line of reality. That's the bottom line. So you have to stand as a woman and say, okay, I'm a man who's good at being a man.
So no one's saying that we don't need men in society. Of course we do. We're talking about relationships. Yeah, you're strong, but the thing is, I can live my life as a woman and not need a man.
What's a woman?
Oh, Pearl, stop
Like
it.
in my day-to-day life, I don't need a man to fix my car. I'll just go to the mechanic.
Listen, right.
I
So
don't
when is a mechanic a man or a woman?
No, I'm saying yes, we need men in society, but in relationships,
Is
the only
somebody
reason I
that
actually
wrote
need you,
someone?
I don't actually need you.
Do you know what?
I need you to procreate. Yes, I agree. But the thing is, I don't need you in my day-to-day life.
What if, wait, what if someone breaks into your house?
I'll just call the police.
Okay, what if they don't come? What if the average
Play
in the
dead.
US, in the US it takes like 15
Okay.
in the US it takes like 15
That
minutes
is,
for them to
but
get
that's
there.
not realistic.
Yes,
I don't
and
know
that's
what
what
These two guys in your house, what do you do?
But that's not realistic. I've not had any man break into my house on a day-to-day. It doesn't happen.
The point
So
is,
let's be
I know
realistic
what
now.
you're saying, but the point is this. The point is,
Actual
we're talking about
delusion.
feminism as a whole demonizes men, and you just sat and said, besides procreation, I don't need a man in my life. I can go to a male mechanic or call a male police officer. They're men. So it's
In society, you are needed. I agree.
Okay,
Of course, we need you.
Of course. So you're talking about
It's
being with
about
a man
the money.
because you want to. So my question to you is, why would you want to be with a
Why
man?
would I want to be with you?
Because they're sexy.
I feel like because I love men. I love
It
dick.
doesn't like it, but it's not all about dick. What I'm trying to say is that in a good relationship, right, one that works, there's blue jobs and there's pink jobs, right? And that's the problem that women have got.
Oh,
They don't want to be doing no pink jobs.
But that's
Do you
not
know
what
what I mean?
we're talking about. We're talking about relationships. Why do you need a man in a relationship? Because you want a partner.
Companionship, friendship, romantic love, things that you can't get by yourself.
Like you want to go on dates with him. It's not about I need someone to fix my car. Like, go to a mechanic. You're not safe. Call the police. Like, it's not about
Wait, what about a father to your kids? You don't think your kids
Exactly.
need to do that?
I definitely want that. These are the stuff. This is the reason
No,
why
you
you
need
need a
that.
man. Like, I agree.
Wait, it's not that you want it, you need it.
I agree. And these are the stuff that I need in a man. But it's like at the end of the day, it's not like I completely need you.
But
I want you.
the whole point is if the lights went out tomorrow, you would need a man.
In
There's no-
society, agree.
Why do we act like women are so useless?
It's not
I can change a tire.
I'm saying if the lights went out tomorrow, you would need someone to protect you. You
Yes,
would.
of course. In society, not my boyfriend.
I'll go on the ground.
Half of my exes can't even do anything.
That's actually another problem. A lot of men can't do much.
Do you know what I mean?
Not everybody
In this day
strong.
and age,
This
in
all
this day and age,
Andrewtate
I can't
Sims.
Not you, my sister.
Andrewtate, speak to your brother.
Guys,
Can I just say something? This is why.
Interrupting each other. What the?
You can't say, I'm talking to both of you because you're just saying, yeah, my man can't do this, my man can't do that. What, and you want to settle down. Why would you go and choose a man that can't do these things that you wanted them to do? Because my man can do all the blue
I
jobs.
need a man.
Because most men go up with a PlayStation instead. Most men go up with a PlayStation and porn and things. No, that's the truth.
Speak for yourself.
I don't need a mechanic to my boyfriend. I need a father to my children. I don't
You
need
know something, right? She needs a
police officer.
She needs a father for her children, right? So she's gonna go out there, right? And you're gonna buy your child an electric car. You're gonna go and buy your child a bicycle. Who the hell's gonna plug the bicycle and fix an electric car? Who's gonna do it?
You got YouTube. I know how to do this. I fixed a battery before.
Why
I
do you
fixed a
need a man?
battery.
You can do everything yourself. Go and get some sperm donor or something because you obviously don't need a man.
That's the future, I think,
And the thing is, no future for who?
No, of
That's the problem.
society.
Because at the end of the day,
What year are you living in?
The year
What
that
year
you
are you living in?
Because let me finish talking, right? Now, you got a man, right? And you've been busy all day, right? And you're in your bed at 1 o'clock in the morning. And your man comes in with all of his friends and says, oh, babes, all the friends are here, they're hungry. What are you going to do?
Yeah, I'll cook for my man. I'm a traditional woman in that aspect.
Yeah,
I love to cook for
what
my
is it that
man.
when people start cooking, they think that cooking is traditional. It's everything. It's not just about cooking. They always say, oh, I cook for my man, so I'm traditional.
Cooking is everything, huh?
I have a question. Are you a virgin? You're traditional, you're a virgin.
Are you a virgin?
No, I said in that aspect. I'm not going to comment on me being a virgin or not. But what I'm going to say is every human being should be able to cook.
She's a hybrid of tradition and
I'm a person
modernization.
that survives. You know, I need to cook to survive.
Can I ask Mr. Tate something, right? I'm going to ask you something.
Sure.
Right, because I don't like bullshit, right? And there's some people I
Why
can't
is it
bear talking to, right?
exciting?
So I'm going to talk to him because so far he's talking sense.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
It's giving pick me.
Right. Who said pick me? Listen, who said
They want me to look at me.
Pick me.
Hang a minute. I've been with my man for 32 years,
Clap for
right?
yourself.
32 years. I don't need to clap for myself because I'm happy. I'm not here. And what I was going to ask him, right, is how would you think that woman? Would you think that woman?
So this is a woman. Andrewtate is creating her
Mr. Tate, like I was saying before we got really interrupted, right? Now,
a
you-
masculine
this idea
female.
of a woman that you think deserves a man. I'm here, single, but I'm looking. I'm here. I'm like taking you. If you want to hook me up, let me know. And I just want anybody, but choose. How does that make you feel? What is that kind of woman that you think deserves a man?
Well, he's a top G. You can't be asking him this
But
question.
you're not top G,
We're the immortals,
Speak
auntie.
for yourself. I know men
They're gonna be immortal in his presence.
Because nobody,
Come on now. This guy Christian be battle.
Unlike you, we have options. Unlike you, we have options.
We have options.
Where's your ring?
Where's the horse?
Hang a minute. You said unlike you, I have options.
We have options. Yeah.
You're out here looking for a man. You're out here saying that you're looking for a man. Oh my gosh, you was out there advertising when we done the introductions. That's what you said.
That's not doing
That is what you said.
I didn't say I was going out looking for a man. I'm doing it. You can't say I'm deciding if I want you.
Mr. Tate, listen to this insult, right? Listen to this.
I'm not calling you.
Hang on, listen.
I'm
What do you call it?
not
Sign language. I'm learning. Sign language, right? Listen to what she just said to me. Unlike you, I have options. Fucking 32 years. You think I want options?
I'm giving you don't have options though. Because the way
No, it's not pick me. Auntie, she meant clout. Wait. She meant Esther. I'm sure you didn't mean pick me. You meant clout chaser. Is that what it is? Sorry, I was just trying to clarify your problem. I was just saying.
I've totally lost it. Why would I want to have options when I've been a happy
The cloud
No,
chaser.
chaser is fans.
It don't make no sense.
You can monetize on YouTube. The clout.
Why are you calling her pick me when you were doing advertising at the beginning of the show.
I said I'm doing interviews. I wasn't advertising nothing.
Okay,
Fanta.
Do you guys understand what an interview means?
Okay,
What is-
all right,
what is
She's being
interview?
spicy, guys. Stop it.
Auntie had a question for Andrew.
Oh,
What
yeah.
was your question?
Oh, she asked already.
He didn't answer because everybody's too busy
Well,
jumping. Everybody's too busy jumping in already. You're so too busy jumping in and being women.
He's patient.
listening. So
He's ready to get
now
married.
you don't shut up and let him answer, innit?
I'll answer. Yeah. So to go back to one of my earlier points. Firstly, to make it clear in the disagreement, I agree with. Of course, anyone knows who I agree with. But I do, because you know what it is though. You know what's actually funny? The things that she's saying are common knowledge 20, 30 years ago. This is how the world functioned. This is how the whole world functioned.
Common
The things
knowledge.
somehow people believe are controversial are exactly the way the world functioned in like the 90s, 80s, 70s. All of the entire period of human history, men had a role of masculinity, women had a role of femininity. We worked as a team. Now the world's come along and they've destroyed and broken everything. And there's this new progressive think and this new generation of women who seem to believe that if we completely fuck it all up, it's going to end up better. And my argument to that is, listen,
I
we
mean,
went from
this
walking around
is
in fields,
blending
small villages,
women
to building cities, to building pyramids,
coexisting.
managed to go from a few thousand to billions of people, populate the entire planet, build canals, build skyscrapers, cities. All of this was done based on the back of man being a man, woman being a woman, working together as a family.
And now it's destroyed.
Now they're going to come along and fuck it up.
If it's not broke, don't
It's
fix it.
destroyed. It's been destroyed. Man has destroyed Earth. What are you talking about? It's been bad decisions for powerful men that got men to go to wars and for women to lose husbands.
Men built.
Men make decisions for war.
Listen,
Men kill
Please
men.
listen to me. Men built the earth. I'm not saying men are perfect, but the entire
Men
world
built the earth.
was built by men.
Yeah,
Oh,
true.
So, and the point I'm making is now we're entering a world of new
No,
tech.
without
The world
women,
is
though.
not tested. I don't give a shit what anyone's opinion is. What I can say as a matter of fact is we had 5,000 years of history that tells us how the world works with X and Y together. We're not entering a new paradigm. There's no 5,000 years of history. So whatever you
How
believe about
big
how
the evolution
world works,
argument?
that's just you guessing. Everyone is guessing, right? So we're entering a brand new paradigm. Everything's completely fucked up. The point you were making earlier, which is a fantastic one about if I pick a woman who's advertising, etc., Men always, please keep this in mind. Especially if you're a female, people always say, you know, the number of emails I get from girls saying, "Give enough girl game." I'll give you girl game right now. Your man wants status. That's what he wants. You need to find a way to make him look good to the world and to his friends.
So how do you do that?
I'll tell you, one of the ways a man can get status is to get a girl that no one can get. That's a very simple way, right? So,
I said not ready to mingle. I did right.
okay, no, but this is the truth, right? If I date a girl and she's perfect in every way, head to toe, and then I say, I met this girl, yeah, she's this, oh yeah, I took her for a date. Even if you didn't fuck her, did you fuck her? No, I just went for a date. So the attraction goes from this to zero. Done.
The one
And
on the
we
right
men
is
don't have
actually
choices. Men
NPC.
genuinely have unlimited options. We want complete exclusivity. That's what we're looking for because that gives status. That's what we're looking for. So you have to be very careful as a female with all of your actions, all of your interactions with your boyfriend or looking for a boyfriend, etc. And say, am I going to make my man look better by doing X or look worse? Simple things. I've had endless arguments about girls' nights out, right? Oh, you're insecure. It's not about insecure. I don't give a fuck if no man talks to you all night long. I don't care if you're going out and you're going to an all-girl club. I don't care. I know that when my boys say, oh, all the girls are going out, and I say, no, my girl, she stays home. I look good. That's it. She stays home. She doesn't go out. She doesn't want to go out without me. That's status. It's not about the night out. It's about the status of the man in the house. That's what a man wants. He wants respect. He wants to be the man of the house. I say she stays home. She stays home. Big G. Boom, boom.
She
Boom, boom.
doesn't
Can I ask something?
want
What about
her to enjoy.
What do you think? What's the game you give for the boys?
I'm going to tell you, but before that, I need another Clementine. I need to give half to our friend here because she's rolled her eyes at me. I'm perspicacious. I know everything. She doesn't realize I'm a ninja. I detect these things. Even when I'm looking directly at her, I can detect it. So I'm going to give her some of my Clementine, and she's going to feel better. So I'm going to get Clementine. Would you like some Clementine, Mikey?
I'm sure.
You want some Clementine?
I think for me, it's like,
Yeah, she's on top for a while.
We're going to hook it up. Clementine coming. All right, go on. Continue.
Okay. Well,
no, I mean, I just feel like this is definitely a different conversation for me because I'm very open-minded. I love hearing different perspectives, and I do feel like this is a newer idea. Like you said, within the last 30, 40 years, this is a new concept. We don't know how it's going to end. I just know from like my experience, other women that I've met as well, it's like the reason for even like relationships why they're not lasting is because people don't want to put up with the disrespect. And like even when you were talking about like, oh, it's okay for me to cheat, but not for you. My thing is like, why not have transparency and have it be polygamous, polyamorous, whatever works for you? That's like to me where it loses me with the traditional stuff.
I get it.
It's like, why can't we have transparency? If I sign up for that, cool.
So how does no man in a million years? Let's all be realistic, right? No man in a million years is going to meet a girl he likes and go, I want to be polyamorous. Like, come, that's gay. Let's cut this bullshit. So let's be realistic. How does a man
What?
find a woman?
Exclusivity.
Wrong. That is how
Time, resources, and something else.
Time, resources. So
Yeah.
that's a good way to start. So sexual exclusivity is how a female shows primarily that she's interested in men. He's the only man with sexual access to me because I can get pregnant. This man is the only man who can do it. That's how it's done. A man, yes, I'm not saying all men can cheat. I'm not saying all men should cheat. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that if I truly love a woman, she won't sit there and go, he shows me his love because he doesn't fuck anyone else. She'll sit there and go, he shows me his love because my bills are paid. I'm in a Bentley. I drive fly private. I go to Dubai anytime I want. I have a Chanel bag. And I'm not talking about just money. I'm talking about resource and a lifestyle as a whole. This is not just me. This is the world. And most of the world today. If you go to Moscow and you find a big G, a rich guy, right? He has his wife. She's pushing a Bentley. She's a kid. She's living in a mansion, whatever. When he goes to the club with his boys, you think he ain't with 19-year-old strippers? Of course he fucking is.
Can I
But
ask
she's
you-
just like, whatever. Don't care. I'm the one who has the money. Don't give a shit. So you have to sit there to a point. You have to sit and analyze the difference. When you're saying disrespect, if you're gonna go through life as a woman and say, I only care about the sexual exclusivity of my man, then what you're gonna end up doing is having a bunch of failed relationships and fucking loads of dudes. There has to get a point where you go, you know what, this guy ticks so many boxes. Once a year, twice a year, he's out with his boys, does some dumb shit. I'm just pretending to didn't notice because my bills are paid, I'm looked after, I can tell he cares about me. If I have a problem, he's gonna fix it. He ticks something. That's the smart female move. As opposed to go, I don't care how good he is to me, he fucked that bitch once, so I'm gonna leave and I'm gonna get another man who I don't love, will fuck another bitch anyway, and then I'll get another man who I don't love, will fuck another bitch. And the cycle of dumb shit.
Can I
I
have
have
mild
a-
examples
no,
though?
wait. I have a question. Is there ever cheating that's too far? Like, so if a guy cheats on a girl, is there ever a point where she?
Yeah, there's a lot of cheating. There's completely a lot of
So
cheating.
like if he knocks up another girl, which
Good.
is
All right. So
yeah.
first things first, I'm a man of my word. I don't even think I'm a liar. So here's your Clementine.
Thank you.
And he peeled it. What a
Thank
gentleman.
I'm a gentleman. Right. So obviously, I'm not saying blatantly disrespect your woman, right? She's your woman. She's your queen. She's the most important thing in the world to you. She needs to be treated in a way that she feels that, right? But it's unfortunate because I keep tying back to this baseline point. But the reason I keep going back to this baseline point is to try and explain to everybody how simple the world can be if you go back to the baselines of it. Why do men cheat? Most women don't know. You'll see it done all the time. Why do men cheat? Oh, because men are just stupid. And why do men fuck girls uglier than their main chick? Why do men do all this stuff?
They
You know why?
have
I'll tell you why. Let's go back to the first thing I've been saying this whole time. Status. Yeah, that's my chick. She's home. Took this one home. Yeah, I got that one. She's chasing me.
That's
Status.
dead.
Status. But it's stupid to females. I get it. But that's the male world because sexual access is an easy indicator of status. So that's one of the reasons they do it, right? So you have to go back to the baseline of why men even cheat in the first place. I'm telling you, if you're a woman, the smartest thing you can do is look after your man, make him not want to cheat. Be perfect. But
Sorry
if there's
about
any
that
time or
one.
your marriage, you might just need to be a
Who
little
is
bit
that?
just a tiny bit. Just don't look at his phone.
So
You'll be cool.
so-
You'll be
so-
cool. Just make sure the bills are paid. He does his jobs as a man.
What if you can pay your own bills, though?
But this is it. We'll talk about that in a second. But I'm not saying allow this for some fucking Joe Schmo. I'm not saying let some fucking loser pick you up, lock you down, and go.
That's
I'm
right.
not saying that. I'm saying if he's a genius doing enough of his other jobs. As for you saying, well, you can pay your own bills, then what's the reality you face? Just like I described earlier. I'm going to decide that the thing that I prioritize above everything, above his resource, above the amount he cares of me. You'll see men cheat on a woman and then cry his eyes out trying to get that woman back. He still loves you. It's not the same as if you cheated. He loves you with all his heart. He died for you. Take a bullet for you. He still fuck that bitch. doesn't matter. It's a different game for men, right? So you're sitting there going, well, I'm going to prioritize his sexual exclusivity over all of his other attributes. You're just going to end up having endless failed relationships, fucking too many dudes, and then what's going to happen is your psychology is going to break because females don't like to accept the fact that if you sleep with enough men and you get rid of the stigma around a new dick, your instant answer is constantly new dick. He didn't text me today, fuck it, someone else. He was rude to me, fuck it, I'll cheat. He was this, I'll get a new boyfriend. And then you end up just jumping on cock all day and you're fucking done. You need to. The reality is you have to come to a point where you get a guy and he ticks boxes. You're like, you know what? I'm wifey. I got Bentley. He does whatever he does, but my bills are paid. That's
So
it.
when would you say it's too far? I'm just curious if there's a line that you like if he spends money on another girl, if he.
I guess not.
Another second question: do you think that men ever fall in love with side chicks?
Very good question, and this is a long, in-depth answer, but it's a good question. Let me do my time. But no, but it's a good question. Where's too far? I think publicly disrespecting is too far. So like you'll notice, let's take Moscow G, right? Let's take an oligarch, billionaire from Moscow. He has his wife. He has the girls he's in the club with. The girls he's in the club with wouldn't fucking dare message his wife. They wouldn't dare step out of line. Like they know their place, right? So if there's a hierarchy and they know their place, that's one way of doing it. Spending money on a girl, certainly, yeah, because men show love primarily through our hard work, not just through our resource, but through our hard work. If you think a man who's not particularly rich, he shows his wife love by getting up.
Okay, so people think again.
And paying those bills. That's how he shows love. That's why he does it for his wife and his children. Most men are out here working bullshit jobs, carrying trash. They're doing that to show love. So giving money, yeah, that would be a far more scary indicator than just sex. Let me give you all an example. I don't know if you all know my history, but I used to run a webcam business a long time ago. Don't talk about it. Blah, blah. But I had a bunch of girls who used to sit online and talk to guys and they had laptops, right? This is a long time ago.
Personal
And I used to sit and say,
experience.
some webcam girls would say, this man who is sitting in and logging in every night and sending you money every day and telling you he's obsessed with you from the other side of the world and missing out on time with his family to sit here and talk to you and send you money, that is more cheating than if he just went out and banged something. If he went out and banged something and came home, then done. But he's sitting here giving you his time, his money,
What?
his affection. That's cheating for a man. For a man to sit there and give money and time away, right? So you have to stop this idea of sexual exclusivity. Yes, that's for females. That's how females show their
So
love to men.
one
How?
night stand is
On
not
stage,
cheating, I
females show their love to
guess.
females. And anyone wants to disagree with me, call me wrong, call me misogyny, whatever bullshit. Look at history book. Every king, every sultan, every conqueror, every emperor, every knight, all of them had maidens, wives, all of them. That's history.
What level of G do you have to be allowed to cheat?
Well,
I wanna
it's
know.
not about even being allowed to cheat. I'm not even saying that. It also depends on the partner you're with. I'm not trying to sit here and advocate for men to run around and fuck a bunch of women. I'm saying-
Depends.
No, but I'm not.
No, let him explain. Let him land. He's about to go. Now, sister, let him land.
No,
Go on then.
I'm not. What I'm actually trying to do is describe the baseline unfortunate realities of human dynamics. And I'm trying to explain now to the world that any woman can get a man who will not cheat on her if she's prepared to sacrifice a bunch of other things, perhaps, right? In the olden days, it was different. The world was a different place. It was a completely different place, and it was better. Now it's all fucked up. It's
Yeah,
fucked up
people
on
are trying to
every level.
get-
Especially the high status men. Most of them have struggled so hard to become high status. They've been through so much shit to get where they are. It's like telling him, if you climb this mountain, you go to a candy store. And he climbs to the top of the mountain, and the second he's in the candy store, after one piece of candy, that bitch is saying, no more candy. He's like, no, I just climbed this mountain. I just got rich. I just went through X, Y, Z. I finally got here. I'm finally in the candy store. And I tell him I can only have one piece of candy.
Okay.
What
Do
man
you,
can I
think, do you think that men owe a woman loyalty if she was there from the beginning?
Absolutely. They absolutely owe that woman
Oh,
loyalty.
sorry, sexual loyalty. That's what I meant.
Sexual exclusivity
Yeah,
is different. Sexual exclusivity and loyalty are completely disconnected for males. Nobody wants to talk about this, but it's the unfortunate reality. It's true. I'm telling you, you can get a man, he can go on a holiday, he can fuck some stripper, he can come home, and you can lie detector test him. Do you love your wife? Would you die for your wife? Would you take a bullet for your wife? He'll pass the lie detector test. He loves her with all his heart. He'd do anything for her.
Okay, then.
It's just pussy. It's not a big deal. It's different.
I feel like, I guess my question would be then is like, how do you view sex? Because I
Lie
feel like
detector
sex at the end of the day
sex,
is spiritual unification. I feel like I've gone through a lot of different stuff. I've had a lot of different experiences where I did not value myself, so I never had a man that valued me. So it's like, yeah, you rack up guys and guys you shouldn't be texting back or whatever. But I feel like I understand that there is a difference with how men view sex and how they move around in the world. But it's like, sex is a sacred thing, no matter a male or female is doing it. So that's why for me, like my biggest, like the hardest for me to understand is like, this is such a sacred thing, and it's just it's like taking a piss for a guy. Can I just say something? You sure you weren't making love to somebody who was having sex?
I'm sorry?
You sure that you weren't making love to somebody that was just having sex?
Hey, auntie, that's
Have I?
in there.
No, that's what it sounds like to me. It sounds like as women, they make love to men that are just having sex.
Right.
That's the difference.
That's not the point.
But my thing is,
But
not all the time.
I think when men hear that though, it's like if it was sacred to you, you would have waited till you were married.
But it's like,
that's
right? No, I get that. But the reality is that the world is not so black and white. So I understand that there are these things in place that worked and made sense, and now we're approaching an era that like we don't know what's gonna happen. But there's gray area. You've had sex, I've had sex, she's had sex, we've had sex with different guys. That doesn't mean that we're damaged goods, we're used good. I understand status is a big part of that. I understand that sex is viewed differently. But I feel like you should not. If you're looking at face value, I can understand why you would be judged from your past. But if I'm a guy interested in you, I don't care about what you've done.
But
no,
that's the
this
thing.
is-
Like men do though. That's the thing. Like a virgin's more valuable to a man than a girl that's had sex with multiple men. Like it just is what it is.
There's a limit.
How do you know it's a person?
Virgin. A modern man is a partner, somebody that's actually smart and surviving the world of today. And that's going to be a
the
woman.
men with the most choice are going to pick women that are more pure in general.
The ones that are already self-made, I guess so. But that's the
And
thing. The reality
beautiful
is,
too,
Well,
the
they
reality is
like-
there's a lot of men out there, especially in the world that we live
They
in.
get screwed.
So it's time for those masses of men to start respecting women for the role they can play in their
I
lives.
don't think
This is stupid.
No, it is.
So it's this rhetoric that actually then is pumped into these minds and creates what people are not complaining about the misogynistic world.
No, do you
That's
know-
what it is. Even in schools, it's
Why
like
is it
all perpetuated.
misogynistic for men to prefer women that are more
It's not
pure?
that. It's not. That's not the problem. The problem is now. Listen, the math is very simple. You've got people like Andrewtate talking about these things with such clarity, and it makes so much sense because it is true, right? And then you have men that are in these situations where just average, working an average job, and they cannot fulfill whatever definition is called to be a man in these.
Yes, they can, and that's
No,
what he said. He did say that. Yes, they can.
No,
A 9 to 5 man can do
Mm,
it.
he
But then again,
just
but wait.
talks
This is the
about
thing.
like
We're talking about
1%
men, and this is why
of
it's very important for us to understand.
all the
this is what
time.
I'm very glad that you clarified everything that you mean. Not every man is like Andrewtate. Not every man is going to be able to even realistically demand for certain things from a woman. So the same way women need to compromise if it comes to a man who is going to cheat on her because he's a top G, is the same way men are going to have to compromise and stop blabbing about purity when they can't demand that.
You didn't get none of what you get none of what
I made my point. That was the whole point.
What's my point? Well, because you didn't quote it.
This Andrewtate seems.
I made my point. I said the average man does not have what it takes to demand what a virgin can afford.
He already said that. He already said
And
that.
I've reiterated my own word for my own content for my page.
You
So
know what
what?
it is, right? Is that too many women, they see regular guys and they feel they're settling. You're not settling. You're getting what you deserve.
But you can't be asking
You're not
for a
saying
virgin,
it.
though.
You're not saying it.
But the difference is men know this. Like most average men are.
Oh, the average men know what they know.
The difference is average
Yeah,
men know they don't deserve
interrupting
an 8. They know
Indy.
they don't deserve an 8. They know they don't even deserve a 7.
And they still go messaging them on the stories and all this kind of stuff. That's just ugly.
Like most men in history haven't even reproduced, and so it's like men know, but the women are the ones that are delusional.
There's regular men out there. There's
I
regular
don't think there's a horse in this one.
There's regular men out there that will
Well,
have you
listen,
down.
Can I just say, people are
I think
watching
that's
Tate,
good.
not understanding that Tate is part of that 1% of
How good
sex
is
offenders,
that?
and they think that they can demand the same thing.
No,
They can demand purity.
One second. Sorry. I understand the point you're making, but let's understand something. To the sexual marketplace, females have always been, and still to a degree are the gatekeepers. It's men will, you can think about it in a very simplistic way. This is not the case, but let's simplify it for the sake of argument. Imagine men will run around and fuck anything, and women are the ones who say yes or no. You are the gatekeepers that have all the power. And this is what's actually truly interesting about the sexual marketplace, because whenever women go, there's not enough good men, then why you fucking, of course, why would they be good if you don't make them be good? You're a fucking loser. So you're talking about, I'm saying that, the man at a certain level can't do certain things. If you were with Joe Schmo and he wasn't treating you the way you believe Joe Schmo should treat you, then why you would leave? Like, women have the gatekeeping. So if you get Joe Schmo, he treats you like you're his queen, treats you perfect, good. If you get a fucking guy at the absolute upper echelons of value and you still aren't happy with what he's giving you, then leave. Women are the gatekeepers. You women actually have all of the power. This is what's beautiful about the whole thing. Women are constantly complaining. You have all the power. You're the ones who get to choose. Do you know who you should be mad at for all this shit? I'll tell you who you should be mad at. Do you know who threw away all the female power in the sexual marketplace? Promiscuous females. Because now you got chicks who will bang anybody without trying. So why should a dude get up and try?
No,
do you have any idea how hard it is to actually be?
Blame me on female.
Do you have any idea how hard it is to actually be, no bullshit, a man? And I say this and women go, oh yeah, dude, as soon as most women encounter any kind of problem, the first thing they do is turn to a man. Their man, their dad, the mechanic, the police, a man. If you actually put a woman
The conclusion is always the woman problem.
Day after day, especially if you're a high level man. Let me make something clear from my life, from personal experience. I'm not just looking after me. I'm not just looking after my chick. I'm the guy. And if I
Another personal experience.
anything big goes wrong, you get arrested in Russia, you need extraction from Ukraine, you need $1 million, whatever it is, Kazakhstan abduction, they call me. I'm the first phone call. I'm fixing 400 different lives. I'm a problem solver. Chicks can't fix fucking any of this shit, right? This is how hard it is to be a man, and it's amazing because society expects it of you, but so do women.
These arguments basically personal problem.
I've got this problem. I can't fix this. It's broken. The car tire's broken. And he went, I don't know. You would dry up like, well, what the fucking point are you? That's the truth. You can sit here and go, we call a mechanic. No, you wouldn't. You look at your man.
Any pollution, I guess.
And this is what she's saying about your man will get up and go, and you know what's beautiful about masculinity? A bunch of times a man will go up and he doesn't have a clue how to fix himself. He'll go, don't worry, baby, okay. And he'll stand up with no money and no clue, and he'll go out there and fucking try and find a way, because as a man, you need to be useful. It is so difficult to be a man. You have no idea the amount of pressure that we're under from society and from the women we even want to associate with. On a whole, it's difficult. So to keep all these things in mind, it's hard.
But can I imagine, you see what you just said about, the top G, that if they had money, you could fly planes and fly that. Drop it down to if you were earning, like, say, 50,000 a year. Yep. Couldn't you be that same person amongst your peers?
100%.
That's what I'm trying to say.
100% good. And also you have to.
Money doesn't make you a top G.
No, money's an amplifier. So that's the first thing about money.
I don't think 50,000 a year is a breast though.
Right, so that's the first thing about money.
I think it's way lower than that, right?
And this is the baseline. And once again, when I say these things, I'm not looking to be attacked or being misogynist. I'm just commenting on how I view the world and how I see things. Traditionally, a man primarily gives his attention to a female to get sex, and she gives him sex back to get the attention. That's the swap, right? So if I'm a dude and I want sex from a girl, I give her attention, I talk to her, I hang out with her, I spend time with her, eventually I get the sex. That's how it works. But the higher value you are as a man, the more valuable your attention is, the more valuable your time is, the less you have to give. It's like potency, right? So I can give 5 minutes to a chick, and that's worth 2 weeks of some other dude's time. But that's the reality. So where you are on the scale is just basically how much of your time you have to give. Now you can still give all your time to a woman, treat her like a queen, you're respected by your peers, she can be happy with you. I'm not saying she will be any. In fact, I'll argue she'll be happy with that man.
Only 5 minutes is enough, I guess.
I'm saying that she'll get the amount of time that she's going to want from that man. The amount of attention is linked to his status. But at a true high level
And
status
he's
of man,
just talking about 1% people.
This kind of leads into my next question.
All right, guys, let's take a second to hear from our channel sponsor. Learn how to
Okay.
searching alert. Advance my browsing history.
I value men.
well, look at society and you tell me.
Ask me.
Wait, so let's ask the single ladies. What would you prefer?
I would prefer someone who's monogamous. I left a situation where I got the Bentley, I had all that, I had the kid, I had that was great. I want a companion, I want real love, and to me, what monogamy means to me is someone who's committed to themselves. That's like, the answer is within you, and to be honest, I feel like, again, like, the sex has been lost in translation and what it means. I don't care, man or female, it's been lost, it's so sacred. So for me, I have kind of taken those blinders off where I'm like, okay, he has to be here. I'm okay with dating the trainer in Austin, Texas. That's just where I'm at. Like, I don't need a certain thing because I know what I'm wanting. Most guys in that percentage are not gonna give me. So I would rather have a monogamous man than someone who can do whatever.
Always,
Wait, so you think the personal trainer is going to be monogamous? They're like known for cheating, no?
Well, I mean, here's my thing. Like, I get it. Like,
Yeah.
I don't
No
generalize people
positive.
because I'm one of the most misunderstood people online as well, and I feel like there's a lot more to me, and I don't like to
This
just
girl
put
is
everyone else. I like to get to know people,
delusional.
so I'm not gonna just say, oh, well, yeah, of course he's gonna cheat on me. Like, no.
Okay. Would you take a guy that makes $35,000 a year and had a dad bod?
At a dad bod,
Yeah.
I feel like for me, I would want someone who.
Sorry, go
Okay.
ahead. Sorry.
I pour into myself, and I'm accountable for my shit. I'm aware of what I got going on. I'm not gonna have a mom bod. I'm in the gym. I had a baby a year and a half ago. I'm in the gym 4 or 5 times a week. So I would want someone who can match at least the work ethic. Now, when it comes to money, I know for me, I want to be able to. I do not want to rely on a man. I've literally done that before. It didn't pan out in my favor. Okay, because what happens is you get the rug ripped from under you, and then now you fucking get out, bitch, give me my fucking keys. It isn't that. So for me, the lifestyle I want, I'm responsible for. So I don't look for a man to make X amount of dollars because anything that I want, I'm gonna get myself.
Well, because in my head, I feel like a guy's just as likely to cheat if he's in the top 20% of like looks. Just as likely as
Okay.
money. You know what I'm saying?
What?
Let me ask a quick question just so I can clarify something, because I understand your points. You're saying you want a partner, a life partner.
I'm
Are you
not
sure?
sure about
I'm not accusing,
that
genuinely.
guy.
Are you sure you're not confusing the amount of time the man spends with you with his monogamy? Because they're different things. Because what happens a lot of the time, if a man out here chasing chicks, he's barely home. But imagine you had a man who was home 7 nights a week. He was always home. I'm talking like an hour, like during his work lunch. You don't even notice. Then would you even give a shit about monogamy if you had all this time effectively? Would you really care?
I still would care because I feel like it's still just an hour a day, and it's not really quality time. I feel I really have been in so many different situations. Again, the trainer in Austin to the NBA player, baby daddy. Like I have seen all of that stuff, and it's just my personal experience and perspective to where I want someone that sees the value in the Grand Canyon. I want somebody who.
I understand. Okay,
like,
so that's a good point, and so I'll just ask the first question. I'm going to ask the second question. The realization you've come to is an interesting one. It is something that happens, especially to females as they mature. Don't you think it's strange, or why do you think that 0 women on Earth choose those kind of men who they perhaps have slightly lower status, but are more likely to be loyal to them, be monogamous, etc. In the modern world, because like I said, the world's changed. Why do you think 0 women choose them when they're at the peak of their choices? So when a woman is 19 and she can go anywhere she wants, every man wants her, she can go on any yacht in Miami, she can get flown out to Dubai, she has all the choices.
She's
in the world.
19.
Why is she completely uninterested?
That's
in those
why.
women? And then when she gets to a certain age, maturity, and there's a whole new generation of girls who have all the choices, then they sit there and go, you know what? I deserve monogamy and da-da, and they all of a sudden want to grow up.
She's
Why
young,
does no
that's
woman decide
why.
that when she actually is at her most valuable?
I feel like like I said, I don't like to speak for all women. I just speak for myself. But I know for me that I was looking for a man for a lifestyle, something that I was not able to do individually by myself. So that's why it's like, well, yeah, I want to be able to do this, do that. I want to go for the football player that was just on GQ. And in reality, now I realize, well, okay, there's a lot that comes with that. I can make my own money. I don't necessarily need that type of guy for the happiness that I'm looking for. Again, seeing value in the Grand Canyon is a lot different than like, okay, here's money for this, here's allowance for that. And Here's that's an the hour of my thing, time. you
asking why a man that is 20, 21, 23 is not a top G like a 30, 40-year-old man.
Well, no, the point-
Your age actually dictates your sort of maturity to a large extent.
Well, I'm arguing the point. The point I'm trying to make is that what I
I
actually
mean,
have,
he's like
especially
almost
in the modern
40,
world,
right?
because the modern world's all fucked up and nothing's the way it's supposed to be. The traditional life path of a female is she's 17, She's 18, she's 19, and her value is massively inflated. And I don't blame her. Of course it's massively inflated. Imagine being 19 years old, have achieved exactly fucking zero in your life, knowing nothing. You put makeup on, and sports stars, billionaires, actors, the most important famous people on the planet, the richest man on the planet are begging for your attention. The ego you're going to develop, let's all be honest, right? The ego you're going to develop is going to be monumental. I'm special, I'm so gorgeous, all this bullshit, right? And then what happens as they grow older, as new generations come along, because the truth is most women are at their peak attraction, let's say in their early 20s. As they grow older, what women become is far more fearful of competition. This is why you'll see a woman who's a bit older go, oh, you know, I really want to know. What she's scared of is her dude getting a 21-year-old. That's what she's fucking scared of. She may not know it, she may not say it, but basically that's what the truth is, because she knows a 21-year-old's going to be more desirable, higher status, more fertile. That's what she's scared of.
She's mad when you're 30 or 20.
So no, it's not about that. I'm telling you the shift in the female mentality, because when a female is 20, she doesn't give a fuck about any of this. She doesn't want to find a nice man. Now she's trying to, like you're saying, chasing a lifestyle, chasing Mr. Promiscuous, chasing Mr. Famous. Doesn't give a shit until she starts getting scared. Oh shit. Oh, my age begins with 3 now. And then they change, the mentality changes. It's a fear element. That's the reality. And it's a biological fear element. I'll give you an example of it. You know what's amazing about humans? We are still very primal. When men like these two and me, when we walk through the mall, people just move. It's like you can sense when the big animals turn up, right? It's something amazing about humans. If you have a very attractive 45-year-old woman, she's gorgeous, but a gorgeous 19-year-old walks in, look at that 45-year-old woman's face. She's furious. She fucking hates her. She just doesn't like her for no reason. Because women understand, unfortunately, but your age is a massive indicator of your value.
These examples.
Every man, everyone knows that. Everyone will sit here and go, yeah, well, no man's older than me. Of course,
Yes, certainly true.
it's just the reality of the world. So then we have to go to the other point. The point is this: when you were at your peak value, you had zero interest in monogamy. But then you find a man who's 35 at his peak value. He's finally struggled and worked, because when he was 19, no girl spoke to him. When he was 23, he was broke. When he was 24, he had no life experience. When he was 25, he couldn't fuck. When he was 20, whatever. He finally gets to the point where he's now at his peak value. Him at 35 is you when you were 19. And then you're sitting there saying to him, no, you should be monogamous. He's like, well, you fucking weren't. You did whatever you wanted in your peak. Now I'm finally got there. And I had to work for my shit. God gave you, God and L'Oreal gave you. I had to fucking struggle. I had to go through hell to get on this yacht. You got on the yacht with an Instagram DM. I had to buy it. And now you're telling me I need to fucking settle down and behave and grow up? Fuck you.
Because
It's bullshit.
you're assuming that the journey is a man that starts with nothing to something, because there's a lot of men.
That's exactly the journey of every man on earth. We are born without value.
So there's specificity in that. Because that's not how it should be for everybody. That's not how it is for everybody. And not for every woman either, as well, may I just say.
Can I ask Brittany something, please? You know, like, then you've learned in the past, and now you want to find someone to settle down. With hindsight now, would you have reversed it and like started young, looking for someone to settle down with, looking for those values that now you know? I'm talking about with hindsight.
Okay, well, I actually, from 18 to 22, I was in a relationship. I've always actually been a lover girl, despite what I put out online for,
I've never seen you online.
Yeah, that's fine. That's even better. I have always wanted one person, and I feel like I was so delusional in thinking that, oh, I'm like you said, like I have value, I'm beautiful, I'm this, and I'm at my peak. Like, why wouldn't you want to be with me? So going into these relationships, or just people. My goal was always to get commitment. Like, I'm giving my time, I'm pouring into you because I want commitment. And the reality is, I never really understood my value. So I was going through guys, giving up sex, doing this, and it didn't make sense. So I believe in, like, I stay on everything I do. Like, I don't do apology tours. It is what it is. And I think that's where I feel like when we talk about women being delusional and all those other things, it is true, because what you have to understand is that there are repercussions to your decision, which is fine. So then you're talking about, okay, well, I want this type of guy, I want this and that. You're talking about maybe monogamy. That's 3-5% of animals are monogamous. I think that's what it is, right? So your window is really, really small for what you're looking for. And even to go on the point you said where you're talking about it's like a subconscious fear, I think it's like, for me, I feel like if it was more of a fear, I would have just stayed in my situation. Like, it wouldn't have made sense. Like, that was my first kid. I thought I waited and did it, right? I left because I believe that there's something else in my heart when it comes to love, and I'm just gonna have to trust that. And if that means being alone, having a dog, I have to take that chance, because the Bentley, the ring, the house, and still getting, again, deceived, right? Disrespected, because deceit is disrespect, right? So I cannot settle for that. I can't suck a dick and shut up. And that is where a lot of people don't like my views and what I represent, because it is something new. I don't know how it's gonna fucking end. I don't know what's gonna happen.
What would you tell your 17? If you had to, like, what would you tell your 17-year-old self, knowing what you know now? Looking back and you had to meet yourself at 17, what would you tell yourself? Like, lock it down and wait for the right man. Don't have sex. What would you tell your 17-year-old self?
That the answers aren't outside of you, because I feel like I'd always look for men to answer all of my questions I've ever had. I thought when I had a man, it would complete me, and I feel like too, especially with like my dad not being in my life, you look for somebody to guide you. Like, so that's where for me, I put too much value in someone else having an answer for me. So that's why I'm really big on accountability. So I would just tell myself, like, to be patient, to take your time. Because I was always quick, try to get in a relationship. Like, we weren't even compatible. There's a lot of just not compatible factors. So I feel like for me, it would be to slow down and to really get to know people instead of just blindly banking on potential that most likely will never be tapped into, or selling myself short because there's a fear of, well, I don't know, this could be the best I could get. I might as well just shut up and suck it.
And that's what I meant about women nowadays, because exactly what you'd be telling your 17-year-old self is what happened back in the day. So when I'm repeating these things, I'm like, oh, you're old-fashioned, but it seems like women do what they like, and then they hit a certain age and say, oh, well, I've got to settle. But it's not settling, you're just getting whatever you can. Or whatever you deserve.
You know what?
Because if you think back now, you'd be telling people now, rather than say that auntie's old-fashioned, or auntie
whatever you deserve,
telling their 17-year-old self, which ain't nothing that I ain't already said.
Yeah,
because really and truly, let me finish, because what I've always said, and you can check, I'm an older version of you. So where you've been, I've already been an up and come back. So that's why I asked you, what would you tell your 17-year-old self? Because me telling you is, I'm telling my 30-year-old self. Do you understand where I'm coming from? So it's not that I'm old-fashioned, it's just that women hit a certain age and they realise, oh my God, it wasn't old-fashioned. It works, because it does. But there's no point in waiting until you're a certain age to start thinking about it. Even if you're like, you hold your own accountability. So it's like if you meet somebody and they're like 17, 18, and you saw them acting a certain way, they ask you for advice, you won't say do as I do. You say this happened to me, and this is what I thought, and what I recommend you do is blah, blah, blah. Am I right or am I wrong? And I ask you for your advice.
No, I totally get what you're saying. Like, I totally agree with that. I think that no matter what you decide to do, you have to accept whatever repercussions come behind that. So any advice I give to anybody is do what you want, but just know there are repercussions, good, bad, or indifferent, that are going to come behind it. So, I mean, I think that's just where I'm at. I don't even think it's like an age thing. I think it's like, in reality, I have a son, and you really start asking yourself questions. And again, I hate that it took having a child to really look into my life and call myself out on my bullshit.
So if you got pregnant earlier, if you got pregnant at 18, 19, would it?
I was always on birth control. I was on birth control for a decade. I got off birth control because the person I was with wouldn't have a baby. So again, I thought I did it right. Clearly not, because I wasn't married. But it still didn't work out because it just wasn't my guy. So that's where I just think, like, even if I still would have taken it slow, there's for a lot of people that just genuinely not my person, and that's okay.
I would just
speaking of marriage, I wanted to know, do you think we're in a post-marriage society? Because on one hand, we hear that women should wait till they're married to have sex, but at the same time, we also hear from the men that they don't want to get married anymore. So what do we do with that?
Seems like it's true because nowadays a lot of people are looking at marriage as a contract rather than a partnership. And there's a huge difference between that because with a contract, there's so many
It's
terms and
because
conditions
there's
and
no
things like
money.
It is a contract.
Well,
Yeah,
no,
okay
that's
to
why.
believe, yeah.
But
Not money,
that is what it is
yes.
now because realistically the traditional sense of marriage is not a contract really in terms of the law. Once the law is involved, that's when everything went tits up, I think.
Yeah, so the problem is that there's zero advantage to marriage in the Western world for a man. There's zero statistical advantage. If you use your mind, if you use your head instead of your heart, and you look at the advantages of getting married, there are absolutely none. Because this new idea of New Age feminism just basically destroys all men in the idea, in the event of her leaving. And it's very common that women leave, right?
I think
Let's
economic
some people
was
life's difficult for everybody. We all have different
mostly-
things to go through. But if a woman marries a man and it goes wrong, she has emotional heartbreak, fine. But if a man marries a woman and it goes wrong, he has emotional heartbreak. Plus,
if they
everything
really
he's ever
love
worked
each other.
ripped out from underneath him, and he has to give that chick money forever.
In some places, you don't even have to be married.
Exactly.
That's why the men don't want to live with the women either.
That's right. So when you make these rules and these laws, right, under the guise of feminism and equality, all this garbage, all you're doing is scaring men away from commitment. And then you have to add in the other hidden element. And the other hidden element is what I said earlier, is whose fault a lot this is promiscuous women, right? So when society's broken down, if women were saying, if all women
What?
together and said,
Doesn't want to pay any money?
get married, but you don't, right? So now you're in Miami. I go to Miami. I can fuck anything in the club. I don't have to marry any of them. If I marry them, I get wrecked. So like, let's all use our brains here. What am I going to do? Well, I'm going to be like, well, no, bounce, see ya, no. So men have been scared away from the idea of marriage, and that's a lot of that is the fault of this new bullshit law, this new feminism, this new crap. They don't give men any tactical advantage. And I'm talking about small things. A man's not even allowed to be a man in his own house. You know, in England, you'll get accused of emotional abuse. I can marry a woman, not lay a hand on her. I can just raise my voice at her. That's emotional abuse. I can raise my voice at her because she's going out drinking with dudes. She can go out drinking 6 nights a week with men, and I can say, what the fuck, my wife, sit down. She can call the cops, call me emotionally abusive. I get arrested now. Now
Okay,
the court takes
his
against me. I go to
personal
court and defend myself. She'll force me to
experience.
take my house. I have to sell my car because she's drinking vodka with fucking God knows who.
But you know, it's
Well, it's insane.
What do you
But you know,
think of child support?
And that's another interesting thing because a lot of these arguments, it goes beyond man and woman and it goes into the larger sphere as a whole, right? Because we talked earlier about war and how a lot of men used to die, and that's
Okay.
So what you used to have in society,
Yes,
and I'm
but
not denying all the answers. I'm just talking
the-
right? What you used to have in societies is a bunch of men would die at war because men have more dangerous lives than women. There'd be a bunch of
Actually
war women,
dodging the
because
question.
women would impregnate a bunch of women,
Amazing.
to take care of the women, et cetera, et cetera. That's now changed, right? So a lot of the reason that monogamy is pushed is because it's good for society, and it is good for society. It's good for society as a whole to have a man, a woman, a family together. The man provides for the woman.
How about the
The government
South?
doesn't want to pay for all these kids. If you don't have child support, you pay for these kids. The government does it. It breaks down, right? So that's why child support is enforced in many parts of the world. In certain other parts of the world, child support isn't enforced because they have religious beliefs or genuine family beliefs that keep the families together. But in the Western world, now
What
you
is
have
this
child support, you're
conclusion?
down to the point where men don't want to be married to chicks. Chicks don't want to listen to the man. The man can't even be the man in his own household. He can't even feel respected where he goes. His woman gives him no status, and now he doesn't want to fucking deal with her anymore. So how do you get that kid paid for?
Actually
Well,
slips off
man,
the
what do you do?
question.
And you come along with fucking long arm and law and you fuck him. And so yeah, it's difficult. It's hard to answer. Yeah, but it's hard to answer. The true answer to all of it is an idealistic answer. I don't like to think idealistically, talk idealistically, but it's true. The true answer to
Down
it
to
is
the
you instill in the man
evolution.
a sense of duty in which you want to take care of his woman
Nice.
regardless because that's his child. But you will do that. I'll tell you how you do that. You do that by inspiring out of the man by being a very good woman. So I'll give you an example. If I had a child with a woman and she was always a great woman to me, she never cheated on me, she was a good woman to me, and I was running around being whatever. She's like, look, I just can't put up with you anymore. You're top G. You're gonna do what you're gonna do. I'm gonna look after your kid. You can see me anytime you want. I care about you. Please don't leave me in poverty. I'd say cool, 100%. I'm not fucking dickhead.
But
Cool, I got you.
that's
I
a
got you.
real man though, because I was in a situation but I was just in a situation like that to where it's like hearts don't break even, and that's the reality too. It's like if those morals and principles are not instilled in a man, none of that shit matters. So obviously the child support stuff obviously hits close home to me because I'm already 50,000. It's just in lawyer fees trying to get him to provide. You know what I mean? And it sucks because it's like you play in the NBA, like why don't you want to do more? And it's just because again of the relationship. It's personal. It's not about our
Personal,
time.
that's right.
So it's like if you're not.
I just feel like it's like, why do you get money for making a poor choice?
Well, it wasn't a poor choice. It took
I'm not
two.
trying to like
What?
disrespect you in any way. It's just like if you
What,
lie,
sorry?
no,
No, yeah,
why do you get money for it? It just
right,
doesn't make
because
sense.
we made a commitment. So we made at the end of the day we made a commitment. We have a forever commitment. Fuck marriage. We are forever family. So again, as someone who is literally going through this, if I made more money than him, I would be paying him child support, and that would be fair to me.
But this is what's really interesting. What's really interesting is if you go to other countries, and I'm talking about civilized countries, right? If you go to Poland or Czech Republic or whatever these countries, which are in many metrics more civilized than the West, they're safer to live in, they're cleaner, etc. There's no child support laws. So if you have a divorce, the man just takes care of the woman because that's his kid, and that's just what he's supposed to do, and that's just it. So what you're saying is, you're right about the man having the morality instilled inside of them. And my point is that the reason a lot of this doesn't exist, the reason men don't have morality installed in them, is not just about
He
the
doesn't
man,
want
it's about
the
society
laws
as a
to
whole.
exist,
It's about
huh?
women as a whole, men as a whole, the dating game as a whole, the life he's living as a whole, and this is the world we live in. This is why I was talking about how dangerous new thinking is, because now we have this new thing, this new world, and we're living in this new world. And the truth is, as a man, now the game has changed. In the game of chess, sometimes it's not about winning; it's about making sure you don't lose. If you can not lose, if you can not blunder any pieces and protect your king long enough, you'll win the game. And there's a lot of men who are now like, okay, how do I not lose? Well, you know what? I become fucking ruthless. That's how I don't lose. I get all my sex because women are promiscuous. I get laid as much as I want. I don't let anyone fucking tie me into anything dumb. Any bitch wants to get fresh to me or fucking talk to another dude, I cut her off financially. But you just get ruthless, so you don't lose the game. But that's because the game's been rigged against men. So the harder you rig the game against us, the more ruthless we're gonna have to be to compete. And that's it's unfortunate. I'm not saying I have the answers. I'm just saying why men do
Can
what
I
they
just
do.
say with regards to Brittany, I just think that with regards to child support, you got a kid, you look after it.
And I do.
No, you're the man.
Oh, I'm sorry. I do.
No, that's what I said. No, that's what I said with regards to the child support. That's what I first said. I think that you have a kid that you should look after it. I don't agree with men giving the women money, but I think it's disgusting that a man can have a child and not support him.
So right, but this is another thing. So this is the comments we have to make, right? Because we don't have all the answers. We have to make comments on it. This goes into the deeper point. Every time a court rules in favor of a chick having $100,000 a month, that puts men off to a level. Like it's fine if there was a baseline child support, $1,000 a month, $2,000 a month. That's if you have a kid, baseline regardless of income. If your man wants to give you more, he does. If he doesn't, whatever. When you come along and start saying this percent of a man's income, do you have any idea how scary that is to a man who works for his money? He works for his money, and you know why it's scary? It's not just because he's giving his money away. It's because he knows he's giving money to the kid. The kid, you can raise a kid on $500 a month in most of the world. You want that kid in Gucci, you in a nice car, going on dates with another dude with my money. I'd rather burn the fucking house down than give it to you.
They should make that budget.
I just think it incentivizes poor decisions. Like I haven't gotten pregnant by someone, but I'm saying, but like you're gonna pay someone who's done that. Like why do they get?
Okay, I'm literally telling you that if I made more money than him, I would have no problem paying for my child. And their child support laws vary in different states. So in North Carolina, for instance, if you make over combined of $300,000 a year, then you are considered off the grid. So then you have to prove this is how much your rent is. Any bill that my son
I guess
occupies,
they
I get a
don't
percentage.
know.
I get a percentage of.
I
So
know.
on the low end, it would be 50%. If there's a big enough salary gap, it could be up to 97%. In the court, the judge gets to decide what makes the most sense. So if my child's father makes $20 million a year from basketball, he gets to decide if $6,000 is a lot, if $8,000 or $10,000, whatever. But you have to prove that. So it's not like you just it's enough money for us to know that. Like these are my son watches Peppa Pig. That's a cable bill. You know what I mean? So it's a percentage of everything. So you're not like just living it up. You're just living. So you're able to prove up your son's head.
Actually, they listen.
And the man made a choice too because I can't get pregnant unless he nuts me.
I understand that, but
Then there's nothing to argue
you're
against.
the one that's in control of who gets born. Abortion's legal.
Okay,
As soon as
Okay.
he nuts, that's completely out of his control.
Listen,
Can I say something though?
Wait,
Just playing
Auntie,
devil's advocate, that I had my child and we ended up went together, and I didn't take a penny from him, and the government wanted me to, but I decided that no, it was better off that my child I look after him myself. Anything he wants to give his son, he
Yeah,
wants to
this
give
is
it.
his
But I
personal
won't, I've done it all on my own.
experience
Is
again.
this headache? Is this
No, I know a lot of women that went that
It's
route.
not unfair though that you have to think that he's not going to be a man and take care of his child. Don't you think that's unfair on you?
No, because my child needs happy. Not
Goodness, Andy.
Like, I don't need a man
But the
to
whole
shoot,
point
you know.
is you choose who you sleep with.
Listen, right, as
But
far as
he chooses as well. That's the thing.
Yeah,
Like,
this is
it's
a tango.
happy.
I'm saying right now it's not fair because women have abortion that's legal. It's not legal for them.
Oh,
They
I thought
get no
it was
say.
fair.
They get no say, and the same thing with
I
birth
mean, I could have done it, but it wasn't worth my time.
You can
One
get
Just
an
support.
IUD. It's like 99.
But what if the man wanted the child though?
That's exactly my point. So let's
The conclusion is just abort.
I think he should take care of it. I just don't agree with having legal incentives for women to leave. That's my point. He should give you money for the kid. If you have a kid, you should. But I just don't agree with.
See, but the thing is, if men stood up and became fathers to their children, women would have
We're
in control of who we sleep with. So at the end of the day, if you pick who you sleep with. So if you pick a guy that's getting girls pregnant left and right.
But she doesn't know that he's not going to be there. She doesn't know that
If she married him, she'd be alright.
she trusted this man to be a father to a child, and now she's left with a child, and no one's going to support her.
Marry
Don't
him.
you think that's
She married
unfair?
him first.
Damn, women have.
That's what I'm saying. She's like
marriage is what solves problems. Are you guys
No, what I'm trying to say, marriage is solve financial
People
problems.
spoken, Auntie, please don't cut me off. This is the problem, yeah? Stop acting like every woman that leaves a marriage and gets divorced is because she's this and she's that. There's a lot of women that suffer and they actually need the support and the legal incentives so that they know when they leave, somebody can back them up because they'll be on their own. Stop acting like men are angels. Because there's a lot of men that are dealing with a lot of the traumas that they have from a man's role being difficult. The same way that Andrewtate explained, a man's role is highly competitive. Men are out there suffering. It is hard to be a man, and a lot of the time, the person that takes the brunt of it is the woman. So yes, she's well within her right to leave, take her child, and be in a better place. And the government should step in to make sure that that man that made her make that decision steps in for their kid.
Can I say
Because
something?
wait, the time that she takes to take care of the child is the time that she doesn't have to go to work, so she's already down on income and she's happy to be taking care of the child on her own. That don't make sense. Not every man is a bloody angel, and not every woman is a devil.
Hang on,
Wait, hang on a minute.
leave. Go ahead.
Hang on a minute. When did I say man was an angel? I'm talking. I waited. Right? So now it's my time to talk. What I was saying to her is, right, is that if she got married first, then she would have been alright. She would have to be fighting for the cause. So the same law that you're saying would have supported her and her child. That is the difference between getting married first. And that's what I'm saying. And that's what when people say that.
Why so loud?
Excuse me, but I shut up when you were talking.
Go on, apologies, my auntie.
Right.
I didn't mean to disrespect you.
So what I was trying to say is that there is an incentive when women get married first and have children. Because I'm not saying that you, I'm just saying women in general. If a woman gets married first before she has a child and then it leaves, then it's totally different. Like he said before, she's out for life. If she leaves, she's out for life. So if somebody else,
That's the point.
No, and as a person, again, let's ask somebody who's actually going through, because none of you fucking know what the fuck you're talking about when it comes to child support, lawyers, none of that shit. None of you fucking know, okay? So you don't. The reality is, if I would have gotten married and did everything right and did everything the moral way, right? Guess what? All I would have on top of what I'm going through with child support is alimony. So I'm still in the courts fighting whether I'm married or whether I'm not. So that, I get what you're saying, because hey, you at least get the commitment to, maybe back up that he's going to be there, but it doesn't ensure anything. Everybody wants a fucking guaranteed thing. There's no guarantee in life.
we're talking different places. When you're in America and you're married and you're divorced, you've got to fight for your money. And we just
Yes, you have to get a lawyer.
Not in England. In England, you get a lawyer and it's sorted. That's the difference. You don't have to be going there saying, oh, I need this for my child and I need this. Once you get divorced,
I'll be
and you go to
putting
court,
it.
it's that much.
Alimony and child support are
I'm saying she just spent £50,000. She's still fighting. You have to pay that here. You would not have to pay that here. You would not have to pay that here. You would not have to pay that here. Do your research. You would not have to pay that here. When you get divorced, she wouldn't go through all the battle that she's going. It'd be simpler in England to get divorced than in America.
She will take your money, take your money. Don't get married, have a parental partnership.
But I just want to make a point. You know what you were saying? Get married. Even Tate said himself. Men don't want to get married anymore.
Why are you not telling what he's saying? Why are you not twisting what he's saying? You're not even listening to what he's saying.
It's not attractive anymore. It's not enough for a man to get married.
And you're twisting it to suit yourself.
I'm not. He literally said, Tate, didn't you say that men are scared of getting married now?
Well, yeah, okay, but why?
Because, like you said, with child support, they feel like there's no advantage. So
And alimony,
if they just get
alimony.
married, it's not that simple because men don't want to marry you.
Yeah,
Okay,
he
so
just
let's
said
analyze that.
by
First
them.
thing, back to the child support thing. What's actually interesting to talk about is there's a lot of countries in the world where there is no child support system and it functions, right? So you have to, if you want to pay attention to actually, learn about society as a whole, it's very interesting to study all the different societies and economies where there is no child support and children don't die. I mean, people get divorced and they still find a way to function.
He just
It takes
wants
very long
to live in
to
lawless
just have
society
a soul. That's
like
first.
Romania.
I'll actually sit here and argue the point that I don't think any
But
man
it's just
really
quite
ever wants to
accept.
get married. I think that women convince
Every
him
day
to
is
get
a
married. I
law.
think that any woman who is genuinely serious about convincing her man to get married could do it. I don't think in the modern world, at least, men wake up and go, can't wait to get married. But what they do is they get a chick who's so good and ticks so many boxes and makes them so happy, and she'll sit there and say, you know what, it would mean the world to me. Please. And he'll go, oh, for fuck's sake, all right. And that's what happens. So I still think you can convince 99.9% of men to marry. The point I was making is the society isn't convincing the men to marry. It's not like it used to be where the man believed he had to be married. Society's done the opposite. So it's your job as a woman to make it clear to him that it is worthwhile. Once again, how would you convince a man it's worthwhile for him to say that's my wife? Say this. That's how you do it. This is a misunderstood hack to men as a whole.
Another
Status.
status
You could say,
I
if
go
you can
with.
convince that man, but by marrying you, his status will increase amongst his peers. He's going to do it. And for anyone out here who disagrees with me, the things men do for status, let's actually analyze how baseline men are. What is status? Status is respect, right? Men kill over respect. Gangs kill each other over respect. A man will smash another man's face in for insulting him. We will die for
Another
respect.
evolution I go with.
We'll die for We'll go to the front line of a war, and the only reason we don't walk
Just
away
going in
and abandon our posts
circles.
as artillery shells rain is because we're afraid of being mocked for being a coward. We'll die for status. So status is what it's all about. It's what it's always been about. You want a man to marry you, status. And it's the same thing with nearly anything you want to do with a man. I don't know anything about your personal life. I don't know, right? But I'll tell you this now. If this dude, this NBA player, believed that he would be higher respected amongst his peers and amongst society for taking care of you properly, that's what he fucking do. He doesn't feel that because either he's rolling with the wrong people, or you pissed him off in a way, or something public's happened. I don't have a clue. But something's happened where he feels like, if I take care of her, I'll look like a bitch. That's what he's scared of. If it was inversed, he had no problem giving you money. Because that's how men function. I'm telling you right now, as a man, I'm telling you what I would do. If I had a chick with a woman, right? And she went on the news, stop Jesus, and fucking, like I said, I have no idea what you've done. I'm giving my personal made scenario.
Oh, yeah.
She would go on the news, stop Jesus, and he fucking lied to me, he's a piece of shit. And then I bought her a Bentley. Women was like, well, look, she insults Jesus, she insults him, he's fucking, he's a simp. But if she was like, you know what, he's misunderstood, he's a good guy, it just didn't work out. Boom, boom. I mean, she'd be in a mansion, right? And would that be me being a nice guy caring about her, or let's be honest, would it be me being a selfish piece of shit dude and saying what makes me look better? Men are all about status. It's how we function. It's how we function as a whole. So society, this is where it extrapolates. It gets interesting. When society with this new thing has destroyed all of the baseline humanities and baseline understandings of how men interact with women, and now all the things we we previously understood about what made a good man, what made a good woman, how we should act together, and how we should interact has been erased. Of course men are acting like dickheads, and of course women are doing wrong things, so nothing makes sense anymore. You've taken the chessboard and moved all the fucking pieces around. Nobody gets it. It should be very simple. I'm a man, I work hard, I take care of my woman. I'm the man of the house, she treats me with respect, she would never insult me or raise her voice to me in front of other people, she's a problem she brings to me in private. We act as a team, we work together. If we break up, she was a good woman to me, she fulfilled her roles the best she possibly could. I'm still a man, I'm gonna take care of her. But all of that is gone. All of it's gone. All of it. And it's gone because of all the ideas we were discussing earlier. The feminism,
All of
doing
it.
bullshit, fucking dudes left and right and center. All these things, all these baseline things have eroded society to the point where now you have men ignoring their paternal instinct. You have men who will sit there and go, that's my child, but fuck her. That's actually a massive observation to make about how fucked up society is. And it shouldn't be that way because men in a lot of the world are not like that. So you have to look at all these small things. The small things we talk about, it's no big deal. She goes on boats in Miami, it's no big deal. It is a big deal because now that dude ain't gonna want to fucking pay child support because you were on those fucking boats with fucking the other team.
And the thing is
That's
that
the
before,
Do you think that men?
That was well said, Sagittarius.
Do you think that men marry for like high status families? Like I'm thinking of like Ivanka Trump. Like would someone marry a girl for like status in that way?
Well, that is one of the most. I mean, if you look at arranged marriages, it's all status, right? That's an example. But men primarily marry for. I argue that men, and I say this about men, but women do the same thing, right? Women love the idea of getting status from a man. Women love the idea, and this is where it actually gets a bit messy. The waters get muddy because women love the idea of bragging about the man they're with, but they can only brag about the man they're with if other women want that man. So you're saying you love women to get cheated, women love getting cheated on. That's not true. But women do not like men that other women don't want. If you were to say, look, my man, he's perfect, he's rich, and every girl in the room would go, I would never touch him. She's like, oh shit. Oh, I love either.
But you know,
Kailangan men rep momento
do you know what's the best man that woman wants? Is the one that every girl wants, but he doesn't want them. A selective man.
Exactly.
That's more valuable than the top one. He gets every
You're
hoe.
saying that men,
That's
but Tate, you're saying that men
I think that's
now
really true.
That's the problem. Men are continuously disrespecting their women. Like, yeah, you know what? You can't be with one woman. Now you want to keep cheating with all these
But
different
that's
women.
not what he said. He's saying if you're gonna go for a high status guy, if you're gonna go for the top 5% of guys, that's what comes with it. And if
Yeah,
not,
but
they go for the average guy.
can I just say that
So
before?
is it okay for average guys to stick with one woman then?
It's not about okay. It's okay for anyone to do whatever they want. I'm not sitting here saying what's okay and what isn't okay. What I'm talking about is observations about the baseline realities of
Okay,
human dysfunction. What I'm telling you is that you give a man unlimited options, like the men at the top of society have. On a long enough time scale, he will explore such options. That is a fact. Like I said earlier, you can walk to a car garage and buy a Nissan, and that's reliable, it'll never let you down. Or you can buy a McLaren. You cannot sit, like women do, and go, I want the McLaren that's reliable like the Nissan. Well, guess fucking what? That's not real. So you have to choose. You
Can I
have
ask
to
you something?
I wanna
Years
go
ago, right? Do you think it makes a difference? Because years ago, you
Creating
meet
a
a man,
woman
you
that
go, "Hey,
doesn't
you're shit."
exist
But now you meet a guy,
in
even though you check your
reality.
ID and see what you're all about. Don't you think that by them being able to look and see what you're all about, that makes a difference to how they perceive you?
100%. I think society is fundamentally and utterly broken. I think the way that men and women interact is broken. I think that men are broken. I think the women are broken. I think everything is completely fucked, genuinely. And this is where we go into the small things we're talking about status. You're right about IG. If I go on a date with a girl and I look at her Instagram page, I'm sitting there thinking, does this make me look good or bad? Yes, I want her to be hot. Yes, I want her to have followers. Yes, I want everyone chasing her. But what's that caption about fucking city life? What's this about? What's that? That's not. Nah, that puts me off, right? So it's interesting. What's also interesting is the majority of women don't have a clue in the modern world what men find attractive. So we said earlier in the very beginning of this podcast about men who want their dick sucked, all this bullshit. Men don't. That's not attractive to men. We don't want any of that. Most women, if you were to say how do you attract a man, they wouldn't have a Scooby Doo. They wouldn't have an idea.
I
Sure.
know. They want a submissive woman.
Hello,
She
my name
cooks
is
for you.
Nova.
Give him some
It's not-
massage.
no,
Feed him great.
It's not
Pat his hair.
it's not just about that. One of the important things for being a man, especially in a relationship, is we want to be our woman. If I have a woman, I love her. I want to be her portal to the world. I want her to experience things through me and see things through me. So for that, I need a degree of innocence and purity for her. I want to be the first person to put her on a private jet. I want to get on the jet and go, wow, I did it. Oh, you took me. It's like giving. You wouldn't want to give someone a Christmas present if they had 10 presents better than you beforehand.
Yeah,
Would you?
like
It's like, well,
that's
duh.
right.
So as a man, so as a woman, what makes you attractive to a man to a degree is your innocence and your purity. This is very important, and it can go down to very basic, simple things. I'll tell you, if I walk in a club,
So
the hottest
it's
girl in the club is the girl who isn't dancing.
Hello,
isn't joining on
Manita.
fucking stage, not surrounded by dudes. When girls want male attention in the club, they start drinking, twerking. That is the most revolting, haram bullshit. I may want to fuck you, but I don't want to be with you. If you show me a girl sitting in the corner, shy, I'm like, 'cause she hasn't experienced too much life. I can show her things, and also not just show her things. This is a very important point. I get attacked by the Matrix force. They completely misunderstand me on purpose.
Matrix,
As a man, if I'm out here
He's in the
struggling with eating in front of my
Matrix,
household, I also want a woman who shares my values. I want to a degree to educate my woman and show her things and for her to agree with me. Like you said earlier, for a male role model. You want to be a role model to your woman. If she's too experienced with life, it's difficult to be a role model. If she's sitting there shy and quiet, you can come along and say, no, you know what? Don't take the fucking vaccine. Listen to me. And you can be a role model for her. You can't do that for a woman who knows too fucking much, knows too many dudes, been too many places. So it's a degree of purity that we're looking for that's super important.
I'm curious. If you said if she's like done too many things, that's like bad, right?
Yes, correct.
So I'm not even talking sexually, like been on a private jet. I'm curious because I lived.
So how do you get on a private jet without sucking dick?
I was just curious because my dad's part of like he's top like 1% in terms of like income, and I was just curious, is it different if you did stuff with your dad?
Well, no, that's fine.
No, not like that. Not
Like
sexual.
that,
Okay.
No, I'm not like
I know
private jet. Yeah, private.
I know exactly what you're saying.
Yeah.
But my point is that we're looking for a true degree of innocence inside of females, and that innocence is going to make us feel protective over them, and that protectiveness is going to make us be good men.
Okay.
So when we're looking at society as a whole, how broken it is, I understand that men have a massive role to play, women have a massive role to play, but a lot of the paternal instincts and instinctual behaviors of men, because the instinctual behavior of men is to die for his woman. Like someone comes to try and take her, pull a sword, die to defend her, right? If you're going through life,
Pull a
men don't really
sword,
feel about you that way. That's because a lot of their instinct is being eroded by the fact that you, like you said, they look through your IG or they look through your life, and you've lived so much life, and they just feel like there's nothing new I can bring to this girl's reality.
But I don't feel like that's true though, because like I think it's like I get what you're saying to a degree, right? But it's like you could be on a private jet 10 times, but it's gonna be special because it's with you.
Not for him, it isn't. Not for him. For him, it's special because it's your first time. Because men, maybe it's a biological predisposition. Maybe it's just the way we were designed. But let's
Not
tie it back to
biological,
first time.
argument.
You've done it. So you've done it with the first time with me. That's what is important. It's experience as a whole that men find. It's just the truth. Call me misogynistic, canceling, whatever. I'm telling the truth. I always have done. It's experience of life as a whole that men, to a degree, find off-putting. We don't want a woman who's had a bunch of trauma, had a bunch of experiences, done a bunch of shit, knows a bunch of people, been a bunch of places. That's the absolute opposite of what we want. We want the complete polar opposite.
Wow.
And what's funny is women want men who have done those things. I'll tell you right now. Go out there and find a virgin woman and say, do you want to have your first boyfriend? Do you want to lose your virginity to a virgin man or a man who's had a couple girls? She'll choose a dude with experience as a virgin herself. Experience is always coveted and respected in men. It's the opposite in women.
That's
So
true, that's
so
true.
it's true. So we have to look at how fucked up the world is. Women, especially between 18 and 28 or 18 and 25, let's say, are living these crazy lifestyles, these crazy lives with the most important people, richest people on the planet, doing everything that can be experienced under the sun. And then at 29, 30, some dude's expected to come along, know he's second place to X, Y, Z, and be happy with that, and not allow it to hurt his ego, and sit there and pick it up and put a fucking brave face on. It kills him every day inside. That's the reality.
People want
And you fucking
experience
wear with fucking who? I got one jet.
women.
I'm Joe Schmo. That fucking breaks their hearts.
Do you think that hoes can never be turned into housewives?
Okay, I'll answer that question. question. And the answer is actually, truthfully, yes. Which I know a lot of people are confused by. They can. If you're a good enough, high enough level man, you absolutely can turn into a housewife. But why the fuck would you? Because you don't have to. A man like me, I could, but I'm not low on options, so I would never decide to do that. If you're a billionaire, you could find an old rusty car and rebuild it, or you can buy a new one, right? So it's not about what could be done, it's about what will be done. So once women hit a certain state as a man, I don't think women are stupid. I actually argue the fact that women have a beautiful intuition. I think that women, to a degree, their intuition is truly almost psychic. The number of times I've come home and she's like, "You're cheating," and I was like, "How the fuck does she know I'm fucking cheating?" Right? Your intuition is real. You guys are smart, right? And if they get to a certain echelon of man, they're not going to go anywhere because there's nowhere else to go. They're going to get to a guy eventually. They're going to stop at the buck and go, "You know what? Where am I going to surpass this specimen? So I'm just going to behave for him." So you can turn a hoe into a housewife that way. But why would a man at that level want to do that?
Why do some guys at certain, and this is obviously a celebrity example, but I'm sure we can all think of examples in like day-to-day life where a guy with a lot of options does pick a hoe and like wife her, like for
No,
example.
that 1% of people.
Tanya clearly has options.
She
Right?
didn't want to be a housewife.
No,
She was a project.
okay, I understand. I'm just asking because some guys do pick.
Yeah, they do. It's a really good point. And I have nothing bad to say about Kanye. In fact, I think a lot of the work he's doing now in terms of attacking the Matrix is important. But I can give you a generalized answer. But it's a man who's not true to his masculine imperative, which is going to fall for the propaganda machine, which is being purported upon him, who's going to believe that all the crap that's being told by society, like females past doesn't matter, and all this shit doesn't matter. This is what's interesting in the fight against the Matrix. People always say to me, "Andrew, why do you come here and say all these things? They're literally trying to destroy your life for what you say." And the truth is, as a man, you have two choices. You either fight against the programming and the brainwashing they're trying to put inside of all of our minds, or you end up fighting against yourself. If you're a man and you sit down and you believe the garbage that society's telling you about how society functions between men and women, you're going to end up getting fucking wrecked, like these dudes do. They sit there and go, "Just because she's fucked everyone doesn't mean she'll do it again." Just because they sit there dummies and they get fucking wrecked, right? You have to sit there as a man and go, "No, I don't give a shit what society's telling me. I understand something baseline about humanity," right? And that's why they make these poor choices. A lot of men do make these poor choices, but it's only in the West. It's only in the West where this propaganda machine exists. You will not find a Russian billionaire doing this dumb shit. You will not find a Chinese billionaire doing this dumb shit. You will not go to Saudi and find a sheikh doing this dumb shit. None of it. You only find it in the West.
Do you think the
Only
values
the
of the West are
billionaire,
spreading?
What values?
So
Name the values.
sorry.
Name the values.
Sorry, I might have misspoke.
Ideals.
I mean like the ideas of the West. Like I've just gotten I get messages from people like from all over, and like in places like India, I've heard feminism is spreading there. Like I've heard that. Do you not find that to be true?
So firstly, the West has no value. The only thing the West seems to defend fervently is LGBT. I'm not saying anything bad about it. I'm just saying it's the only thing that they'll stand up and fight for. I don't know why. It's weird. Like they don't care about anything else. They don't care about children going without child support. They don't care about people dying in wars. They don't care about our parents being in parent homes. They don't care about crime. They don't care about no being able to pay their energy bills. They don't care about nothing. But they give a shit for some reason about this one thing, and they'll fucking throw the flag all around the world. That's all they care about. It's fucking strange. That's the first thing about the values of the West. Second thing, the harder society and the harder the life is as a whole, the longer it's going to take for feminism to spread. Feminism only exists in a vacuum of an easy life. If you're living in a society like India, where life is hard, feminism disappears because the harder life is, the closer people naturally revert to their gender roles. If you've got a bunch of 10 men, 10 women stranded on a desert island, and they had to survive, very quickly the men would do men shit and the women would do women shit. There'd be very little talk about feminism, equality, and all this shit would fucking vanish when shit hits the fan, right? So in countries where life is harder, feminism can't take hold because feminism can only exist in a vacuum of a very privileged life. I'm sure there's some kid in India who didn't get laid off some chick and he's complaining she's a feminist. There's a bunch of dumb shit, right? But I think the world is going to get a lot harder. I think the world is cyclical. I think it's been easy for a while. I think hard times are coming. And when hard times come, people are going to naturally revert to what gives them the highest chance of survival, which is gender roles, right? I have the best chance of survival being a man, and a woman has the best chance of survival being my woman. That's how she's going to function.
Do you think women typically are happier as housewives rather than a career?
Well,
Depends on the career.
No,
Depends on the man.
The answer is absolutely not yes, because giving life is the most beautiful thing a female can do. That's what you've evolved to do. That's the thing that men cannot do. I think that women who focus on having children and do their best to be good mothers in the end are the happiest females on the planet.
Being a mother and being a housewife is kind of different though.
Okay, no, but it's essentially the same thing. If you're a housewife long enough, I'm going to assume you're going to end up having children. And I think that the sooner a woman has children, the better. If she can find a good man and have a child, that's a fantastic thing. I think it's a beautiful thing.
Right.
I don't see the point in a woman slaving away for a corporation that doesn't care about her as opposed to slaving away for her own flesh and blood. I think that's a complete waste of her life. I think if men are already doing that, why would you want to go along and do that as
Because
well?
a career is not just slaving away for
This
corporations.
is
career
what's
involving many
prevent.
things.
Well, that's exactly what a career is. It's slaving away for a corporation that doesn't care
Women,
about you.
I guess.
I understand you don't want to be completely sufficient. You don't want to be self-sufficient. You don't want to depend on a man. I understand all that. But in an idealistic scenario, in the vacuum of ideology, if you could sit and be a woman and focus on having children or focus on doing a job, I think in a long enough time scale you'd be much happier with your progeny as opposed to working a job.
Can I ask you a question? Because I feel like we talk a lot about hoes, we talk about a lot of the extremes. There's a lot of grey matter in the middle where a lot of women kind of get lost.
Yep.
For example, I think that one of the issues sometimes that I hear a lot about, and I personally may say I feel it sometimes, is that when you're also a quite educated woman, intellectual, intelligent, whatever, smart, a lot of the time, naturally, you speak in a way that stands out from other people, right? And I find that a lot of the time that kind of intimidates some of the man them where they start thinking this girl is a bit too much. Now, if it's not my fault, I'm smart. It's not my fault I can put one and one together very nicely, very quickly. What kind of man is going to handle that? This woman laughs like I don't speak for long, I got 3 degrees. Now,
Wait, is she trying to say you're not smart?
it's okay. I speak how I do for a reason. So please, sir, can you help me out? I'm trying to find a husband, the kind of beast that can handle a woman like me.
Well, this is another point, right? And I'm only answering generally, right? Because this is the first time I met all of you ladies. You've all been very polite to me. You've all been very nice. I'm just talking generally. And I'm going to answer it based on your last sentence. Your last sentence was handle a woman like me. Let's look at the average man's life, like I just discussed earlier, how difficult it is, how competitive he has to be, and how many problems he has to fix. Do you think he wants to handle any woman?
Okay, so
Do you like the idea of any degree of problem? It's the straw that breaks the camel's back. Like the point of having a woman as a man, for me at least, is for her to be my peace and quiet. My life is stress. You see me, I'm rolling on fucking security teams, and I got problems, and they're after me. And when I come home to my chick, the last thing I want to do is have to handle anything. I want her to sit the fuck down and her make me happy. She used to be my positive energy. She used to be my sunshine in the rainstorm.
Okay.
So you're talking about him handle you. I don't know. I can't answer the question exactly. But if you're sitting there constantly arguing over small points,
can answer the
what
question.
this is about. I don't have the energy for another fight.
okay, so now let me add extra context to what I mean as well. So obviously submission is something that people talk about a lot.
Yep.
For me, I'm a logical person, I believe, and I submit with logic. I don't submit by default because there's a level of respect that I believe I need to have
Yes.
to be able to submit. Obviously, it's not that I go around and I disrespect all men and everything, but I find that my level of thought process a lot of the times
It makes it hard. No, so I know what you're trying to say.
Yeah, thank you.
You know, but you need to find a man you truly respect to submit to him, and I completely respect that. And that's the same with 99% of women. Like you're never going to submit to a man you don't respect, and respect is ultimately important because you're not going to sleep with a man you don't respect. You're not going to be attracted to a man you don't respect. Respect is the bottom line of it, and the man has a job to do. He has a duty to do to be worthy of respect. But this all goes back into a very interesting point. Some of the points I kind of made earlier. If I was a woman, if I was a chick, the chance of me ending up in a relationship with a man I don't respect is 0%. I don't understand how you girls end up. Well, I do understand how you girls end up here. You end up here because of feminism, promiscuity, promises that run around thinking dick is fine, dumb shit, stupid decisions. I'm independent, so it doesn't matter, he's a dummy, bunch of garbage. When you should be waking up going, you know what? I'm gonna be extremely selective. And I'm gonna take my time and be very, very smart. Because you're the gatekeeper. By the time you're in a relationship with somebody, you should have immense respect for that man. Absolute immense respect. You shouldn't be able to get there any other way. The only reason you got there is because you've been tricked by society and lied to and told a bunch of fucking bullshit. So you're talking about submission and respect. Yeah, it'll come when you meet the right man, naturally. And this is another point I make, because I have a lot of men message me. Trust guys, please understand, I'm the most Google man on the planet. I have 100,000 emails a day. And I get dudes email me, how do I get women to submit? And I don't reply to, I can't reply to all emails, but if I ever read them, I'm like, bro, you're a fucking dork. Why would she reply to you? Why would she submit to you? You're a fucking nerd. That's the truth. I'm not out here saying submit to all men, men are the boss. I'm saying, listen, there's natural balance in the universe. When you meet a G, I've never had trouble with a woman obeying me. She just wants to. It's natural for our dynamic. If she didn't want to obey me, we wouldn't even get to the point of a relationship. If she didn't feel like she wanted to listen to me, we would have never got to where we want to get. It just doesn't work. That shit only happens when the females fucking give up sex too easy and the dudes just pick up easy pussy and end up in some bullshit relationship they don't like each other. That's dumb shit. That's dumb shit, right? But I don't have any of these problems in my life. If you're a dude at home and you're watching this and you go, oh, I want to submit, and she doesn't, guess what? She doesn't respect you. And guess whose fault that is a lot of the time? Your fault. It's your fault as a man. It is. No, it is. No,
that's what we're down here. Tell it.
But it's not blaming men and women, because everyone has a problem. But then there's also men who are worthy of respect who women refuse to respect because of society. So there's two sides to it, right? But a lot of it is, if you're a capable enough man and you're brilliant enough, then the female has no choice. But it's very interesting. This goes back to a point I made earlier about how important it is for us men to find women who we don't believe have had a lot of life experience and look like they are. Because I got attacked. I'm gonna make this point right now. I got attacked when the Matrix attacked me and fucking lied about me. They said that men are interested in women who are younger because they're more programmable, and that they're trying to make out that I'm making out that men are out here trying to get women and fucking do bad things to them. No, what I'm saying is, if you find a woman who's less relationships, less headache, she's lived less life, your ideals. If you ask anyone who loves her man, what's your favorite song? His favorite song. Who do you vote for? Who he votes for? What's your favorite car? His car. That's how it happens when a woman loves a man, and that makes the man feel good, right? If she's been through too much shit, then that's a lot harder to pull off. So that link is very important for men and women. But so yeah, the Matrix is that, but it's very, very interesting. You have to understand all these small sub-dynamics and why things are happening and why the world is the way it is. And the baseline of it is that everything's fucked. Men are acting like men, women are acting like women, and it's all messed up.
Oh yeah. So what about like your own autonomy and like just like you can your favorite car's your favorite car, my favorite car's my favorite car. Like why does it have to? I guess that's where I'm confused. Like, why does it have to be like that?
Yeah, and that's a good point, right? I understand that completely, but I'll give you an example. I'll talk from personal experience, and it's easy for me. I have a bunch of cars. I love cars. I have 32 cars. My favorite car's X. I pick up a chick. This is my what's your favorite car? This one. I like that one. I'm like, all right, cool, whatever, no big deal. But the agreeableness is ultra attractive. It depends what the woman wants to do, right? If I was a woman, and let's say I'm 22 years old and I meet a billionaire, and it's my goal to marry this man, and I go to his house, and I say, wow, you have so many cars. What's your favorite car? This one. Really? I thought that one too. It looks so good. Why that one? Because this. Oh, really? Okay, I'll try and remember that. That's how you get the dude, right? You don't get the dude by going, well, that one's a better color. You're a dickhead. It may be small things. It may be tiny things, but men are ultra interested in the idea of a woman absorbing our worldviews. We're ultra interested. We are. That's what we're looking for.
That's taking away from the woman's identity. What if you say she doesn't like the car? No. So why should she agree to your car that she doesn't like? Why do you want to be with someone that doesn't know who they are?
Can I say, oh, I like this one. This is my favorite. But I like this too. This is quite nice, you know. Actually, now that I'm looking at it, it's quite good. But I like this one. I like that one as well.
You sound like you want a slave.
That's just not together. It's just being nice. It's not pushing much.
Men don't want a girl that's nagging on them for the smallest things. Like, why are you giving a guy having a car?
He's saying, oh, what car do you like? Why does she have to say his car? Like, she likes a different car.
I'm talking about how as a female to be as attractive as possible to men. Now, I'm not saying you can't get a man if you say another car. I'm saying how do you be as attractive as possible? Because you also don't understand how men think. It's different if you come to my house and choose to like another one of my cars. But what if I only have one car? And now you say, well, no, I have to be. Oh, yeah, nice. I prefer Mercedes. You know what I say that? Who picks you up at work? That's the first thing that goes through his fucking mind. How do you know about Mercedes?
What do you can buy your own Mercedes?
That's not what crosses a man's mind. I'm telling you how men think.
But then that's why.
What percent of women can really afford their own Mercedes? No, guys. I'm really happy for you. I said, what percent? The average woman makes $35,000 a year.
It's not that hard.
I'm really happy for you. I'm really happy for your car. But the average woman, I'm saying, but the whole point is that what percent of women even earn that much? It's not a high percentage. So when a guy hears that you have when a guy hears that you've been in this car and that car and that car, his automatic assumption is that you're an average girl. And that you've been with a bunch of guys to get to that point. I've had a lot of experiences because of my dad, because my dad's very successful. But I've been in situations where I've said like, oh, I did this, and they think it's with a guy, but it's with my dad. Because most guys assume that you're an average person.
And that's demeaning a woman. She can't afford a laptop.
It's not demeaning a woman. It's looking at a balance of probabilities. If I meet an average guy, I assume he makes average money. I think it's based on it's based on a balance of probabilities.
Can I just say something? It's all about making a man feel like everybody says, oh, he's a top G. But it's like if your man put up a light fitting, and you're standing there watching him put up the light fitting, or you Denova, you're watching a man put up the light fitting, what would you say while he's putting it up, and how would you react?
I'd be like, you're probably doing it wrong, but I'll let you finish and then you go back and fix it.
Right, then hang on a minute, and how would you react if your man
talking so slow.
Okay. Well, I'll be like, see, the thing is,
no, just answer the question. What would you say if your man was putting up the light fitting? I'm just asking the question.
I would be like, thank you, babe. Thanks for putting up the light fitting. I appreciate you.
My man put up a light fitting. I was like, wow. He got it all out. It was all in boxes. He got his toolbox. It was up there on the ladder. Whatever you want me to hand you. I was like, oh my god, you're stripping wires. Oh my god. Then he said, oh, when it finished, I was like, it works. That's what he's talking about.
I agree.
That is what he's talking about. When he's talking about the car, he's not saying you can get your own car. He's saying make the man feel like he's doing something, make him feel appreciated, like act like a child.
No,
like, you know, and that's what he's saying. He's not saying, oh yeah, you look like that car. It's like my man got a car. It's like, oh my god, it's got heated seats.
That's the same way it goes.
I think it's got to be a balance though. Like, yeah, I agree. I like to make my man feel good. When my man dresses up, I'm like, girl, you look so fine. Like, I like to make my man feel good, but he has to do that to me as well.
Listen, right?
He has to offer me that.
I listen to Mr. Tate, right? Say about, let me put for instance, there's an artist that I like. My man likes it too. COVID had just sort of like finished. I got 2 free tickets to go. My man said to me, you're not going. What would you do?
I'm going.
What would you do?
Why am I not going?
It doesn't matter. He said he was going.
Because that's just illogical submission. Why can't go?
No, but the whole point is you pick someone that you respect enough to trust his judgment, even when you disagree. That's the whole point.
I want to find somebody who I respect enough to bring me stupid.
Just because you're in a relationship.
Wait. We need one at a time.
Why would you think he's stupid or whatever? You trust the man enough to be with him. You trust the man enough to sleep with him. So why won't you trust his opinion? Why does he have to give that? If I say to my man, don't do this. The first thing he's thinking, she's telling me what to do. There must be a reason behind it. Why is she telling me not to do? Because she trusts me. I did not go. I had 2 free tickets. I did not go.
I'll tell you why. Wait. Auntie, you asked me a question. I'll tell you why. Because the same way a man wants that sort of validation, a woman wants assurance. I don't want to just blindly do everything all the time, especially sometimes I'm thinking, okay, that's
Okay, so let's talk.
That's what submission is.
No, that's a really important point.
submission.
I'll make a really important point because the point she's making is twofold. And it's extremely important because a lot of women talk about being submissive, but they're submissive when it suits them. That's not submission. So she wanted to go to the concert. He said no. She trusts him as a man. She didn't go. Absolute respect for that. That's exactly what my woman would have done. Exactly the same thing. Women go, I'm submissive. You're submissive when he's buying you shit in bed and you're submissive. But the second he says something you don't like, you instantly turn off the submission, run your fucking mouth. That's not submissive. That's manipulation. That's bullshit. So that's the first thing. The second thing is responsibility and authority are linked. And as a man, if I'm going to be responsible for a woman, I need a degree of authority over her. This is the
you
reality
want
of it. If I'm
side to be
responsible
submissive
for
all the time,
your
huh?
personal safety, responsible for your personal development, responsible for
Like a
fixing your
slave.
life, responsible for everything that I'm supposed to do as a man. I need a degree of authority to sometimes come along and say X, Y, Z, and be obeyed. If I'm going to have a ship, if you have a ship, the reason the captain has to go down with the ship is because he is responsible for everything that happens on that ship. And because of that, he has authority. If he yells at the shipmates and they all ignore him, then he can't be considered responsible
he's
for
just
the problems on the
being
ship. He doesn't have to die with it. If you want a man invested in a relationship, he needs to be responsible for you, but he needs authority over you. And you know what? The smartest thing to do as a woman is sit and go, you know what? Go into this concert. It's 2 hours. But this is going to piss him off and it's a splinter in his mind for years. Is this really worth it? Now, I'm not saying let some man abuse you, let some man treat you shit. But if you have a good man who's good to you 99% of the time, he comes along, he really cares about something, you should give him that grace and give him that, you know what? He's a man, he said it, boom, done. Because if something happened to you at that concert, if your bag was snatched, if you got fucking robbed, if someone tried to punch you, if someone grabbed you, who would you call?
Okay.
Help me. You call your man. You call him.
Senor Andrew, Mr. Tate King, Master Supreme Leader of everything, Universe, the Matrix, and all of that. No, I just say this because it keeps him chill. I want to make my point the right way. You know
But
what I'm saying?
do you not think that it's not respected?
Wait, guys, wait 1 second. You go ahead. You want to say something?
Just doing the most.
Of course, I have to do the most. This is the thing. What you don't understand is that as a lady, I am displaying to you that it's very easy to speak to a man like Andrewtate. As long as you don't need to step on his toes and you respect the authority that he has. I'm not going to sit here and try and fight against a man that has done a lot more in my life, been in rooms I haven't been in because he's Andrewtate. I respect you, but I can still put my point across. Okay? My point is no, but there is a point, of course.
Can I say something? When you say but after something, you just can't say
no. However,
thing
the
indeed.
point is an acknowledgement and then comes the counter argument because I don't have to agree with things to speak. Okay? So my point simply is, fine, I get that, but at the end of the day, the same way that we have evolved now, as a woman I have evolved, I would expect, and what I do want is not equality, is a certain level of respect, which means that if I am also somebody that is quite smart, somebody that can take care of themselves, I've done all of this for about 30 years of my life, you can't tell me just no. What the condition is, sorry, Ian, the condition is, instead of telling me no, give me the assurance as to why I said no, because actually I am agreeable when you make me feel assured that what you're doing makes me feel safe. Actually, because what women are looking a lot for is stability, and stability comes from knowing that you can trust a man.
It doesn't count when you're only agreeable when you feel like being agreeable.
Can I just say something, Nova?
That's why I said I'm submissive.
You're only submissive when you feel like being agreeable, like when you feel like.
Can I just say something, Nova?
Out of respect.
We live in different houses. If I went, he'd never know. Me and my man, because I'm a caregiver. If I went, he would have never known.
The horse is terrible.
Okay.
So what you were saying?
So I'll say to you, okay, baby, you don't want me to go. Why don't you want me to go? Like, what's worrying? What's the matter? Why would you not want me to go?
Why would I want to question him when he's always got my best interest at heart?
Well, I want to know. I don't know why, because my best interest.
Why should he have to explain everything?
Because you're not a child. You are also going to know.
Okay.
And it's not treating a woman like she doesn't have her own mind. It's very
It is
disrespectful.
acknowledgement.
Like, I'm sorry, think about it. Right, I'm 26.
Just not a
Right?
sad.
I live my life all by myself, and then I'm in a relationship, and this man's telling me I can't go out.
I know,
For no reason.
girls, let me
Does
do
that make sense? Can I do that to a man and just say I don't want you to go out?
If I told my man, listen, right, you know you said you're going such and such. Well, you know what? I don't really think you should go. He'll think about it and he'll say, you really don't want me to go? And I'll say, no, you won't go.
That's a lie.
That's not a lie.
There's no man
That's nice. If we can do details like that, baby, I can veto you.
Let me ask you girls a question. The reason she decided not to go is because this is obviously not a regular occurrence, right? So he had a reason and she trusts his judgment. Let me give you girls a scenario. Let's imagine I'm with a chick, whatever. She has a concert. I said I don't want you to go, and she replies like you. Why can't I go? And I say, got a bad feeling. Don't go. Now what?
Now
Now,
like
Bad feeling, huh?
you think the woman should just go? I don't give a shit. Stupid feeling and bounce. Or
no.
should she
What
just
is the reason?
There's no reason. There's no reason. I'll bad feeling.
Wait.
Bad feeling.
This is the thing.
This guy.
Listen, my sister. This is the key. When you say I don't know, I just got a bad feeling. Let me tell you how that is get traveled into my head. He cares about me, and he's actually thinking about something that potentially could be happening that I'm not aware of. I love him for thinking outside the box. But you reassured me. You've shown me respect for being able to make my own decision, and that's all it takes. That's all the girl wants to hear.
I'm sorry, you need a logical reason as to why you're going to tell me.
A feeling is not logical. A feeling is not logical.
Guys, the whole point is the whole point is a guy doesn't want to explain like every decision he makes.
And I don't want to
Because I want to explain
think
her.
things through a lot like more than we realize, and so he's already thought about it. He's already made his decision. It's a headache to him. But every time he makes a decision, he has to explain it to you.
That's right. And if you trust that man, and you've been with him as long as Ozzy's been with her man, and he says something with the kind of relationship they have and the respect they have for each other, of course she's gonna be like, all right, well, cool, done. That's trust. And that's trust. And
Wasn't happy.
of course. And also that's a really good point about submission. Because submission is largely misunderstood. Like I can tell you a million stories. I've had girls who are like, yeah, you're the man, you're in charge, and yeah, no problem. Yeah, she's cool. She's cool on the jet. She's cool in Dubai. She's cool in the restaurant. She's cool in the 5 stars. She's cool in the Lambo. But the second I say something that she half doesn't like, then she's like, well, you know what? Then she's a feminist, right? So women do this very well. A lot of women flip flop. Like if you trust your man and you really want to be with him, you really want to submit to him. There's gonna be times you're gonna submit in ways you don't like.
Yes, just as feminist, huh? If you don't agree with her.
I respect you in the fact that you're willing to give a woman a life. You're willing to provide for her. So I respect that you can then tell her, I want you to do this, but she has to listen. But a lot of women, they want autonomy over themselves. Personally, I don't want a man that's going to provide for me just so he can tell me to sit down. I'm going to go.
Let's understand something. Let's understand something. Every man will give you a life. It's just a matter of whether you're happy with
Not
the life
every
that
man
man.
can afford it, though.
No, exactly. Every man will give you a life. It's just a matter of whether you're happy with the life that man is capable of giving. And this goes back into the earlier points we were saying. You can find a man
People don't sound like a man.
the best life he can possibly give you every ounce of strength inside of him. He'll give you all he has. You can get that. But if you're gonna wake up and go, no, I don't want that life. I want that life. Well, then that comes with problems.
Yeah,
and this is the cognitive dissonance that most females operate under, where they sit and go, I want that life, but I want him to act like that guy. I want the Nissan and the McLaren. You can't have both.
What about
you need to
projects?
decide. And there comes a degree of female maturity. As you said earlier, you get to a point where you're like, you know what? Maybe all that glitz and glam and bullshit isn't worth it.
It's not worth it.
You grow up, right?
Yeah.
And that's fantastic. And you make a different decision. And I'm saying that a lot of women get to that point. The problem is, in the modern world, the shit women did before they got to that point, from 19 to 24, pisses the man off to the point where he's never going to be as good as he could be. It's different in your world, right? You met a man, you stayed with a man. I know plenty of people. First man, high school sweethearts. The world was different only 40, 50 years ago. The second man, they've been married forever, 50-year marriages. All that shit's gone. And then we have to tie back into all the other subpoints I've made. Into you've had a very fun life at your peak sexual value from 19 to 24, running around doing X, Y, Z. Now you're with this guy who can't give you the life he knows you've already lived. Part of him feels inferior. His status is damaged because all the shit you did is on Instagram, and he ain't the one who gave it to you. And now you're expecting a whole bunch of crap out of him. And now when he comes and works his ass off and manages to save up and buy a BMW and picks you up, hey, I got a BMW. You go, yeah, I like Mercedes. This is the point you're missing. It's not about the fucking car. It's about something larger than that. It's about making him feel like he's a man again. And like
What
in
is
charge.
this
And
story?
you're sitting there going, I'm an autonomous female. I can
It's
What are
regretting.
you doing? You're damaging the psyche of the man who's trying to love you. Is it worth it?
But what do you mean by loving? Can we break it down? Take, can we break it down? Does loving mean that you listen to what I have to say and also think about what I want and not just what you want? Is that what loving means? If that's it, I can subscribe to that. I'm not going to subscribe to you. Sit down and you have to sit down. No, I'm a grown-ass woman. I pay my own bills. You're going to tell me what to do?
That's fine. But it gets to a point. It gets to a point where you have to sit and analyze the scenario you're in and try and realize and pick your battles. And I'm telling you, you may not realize it, but a man does a whole bunch of shit for you that you don't know. He's watching the shows you want to watch. He's listening to you talk gossip about the girls at work. He's fucking going, yeah, I like that dress, that dress. He doesn't give a fuck about any of it. He's doing it for you. But the second it's back the other way, you have some fucking issue with the talk.
Just leave them.
Yeah, he's right. Because women talk nonsense for a long time. And it's like, yeah, babe, you're right. Yeah, babe, she did that. It's true, babe. Oh, yeah, that show is good. Yeah, babe. Yeah, it's true.
I agree. Men do a lot, but women do a lot too. As much as if my man caters to me, I will do anything to make him happy. If he says, "Oh, babe, I like this meal," I will make sure I can cook it for him because guess what? He actually cares about what I want as well. You can't just have a one-way relationship.
I'm just saying. I'm just
One-way relationship.
And I'd make a man as attracted to me as possible. My goal would be to get that man status and make him feel good about himself. And I'd be very, very careful talking too much about life experiences or opposing views. Not because he's out to oppress me, not because he's an evil, horrible person, but because he's trying to find somebody with a similar life view. He's trying to find somebody he can show the world to, trying to find somebody he can feel like he can teach things to. That's how you get the best out of a man. I'll tell you how you get the best out of a man.
That's why I got Clementine.
No, but if you go into a man's room and he's playing video games, and he's playing video games, and you say, "Oh, you do play video games," and you nag him, he'll play video games. If you walk in there and go, "You know what? You're so smart. I've seen you do so many amazing things. You said so many amazing things. Why do you waste your time playing video games? You could show me so much." Now we're gonna get him off the fucking console.
Yeah.
Like, I know it's an ego play. I know your girls are like, "Why should I have to do that?" There's a lot of
Because it tells you look pretty in the morning.
It's because you win. It's because in the end you win. You talk about why should I have to do that? Well, why should you have to work hard at the gym to get six pack? Because you win. That's the game. It's actually men are so simple. We are so simple, and the truth is women know it. This is what's amazing. Women pretend they're confused. You're not confused. You know. You're just egos are in the way, and society's telling you something else, and you just fucking refuse to be agreeable, nice people.
No,
and then you wonder why men have this fucking problem marrying you.
Just be nice people
I have a
now.
question for the girls. So imagine you're dating a guy, okay, and it's your birthday, and for your birthday he gets you, let's say, a $500 gift, okay, and you're happy, right? It's great. It's thoughtful. It's specific to you. Then you found out last year he got his ex-girlfriend an entire birthday party. How does that make you feel? He went. He did the most. He rented out the nicest hotel in London. He got her everything she wanted the year before.
I mean, I care.
You don't care?
I don't really care. As long as he's making me happy.
Okay, you don't care?
We're different people too.
Yeah.
It's a different relationship, and maybe like he bought her flowers every day, 365 days a year, and he didn't do that for me. It's like, well, if that's what makes her happy, he's gonna do what makes her happy.
Exactly.
I mean, I get the angle. What you're saying is like, oh, he did all that for her. Why am I not good enough? But the second you compare yourself, you lose.
Yeah.
And I agree.
Comparing.
But I'm just saying that's how men look at like your past is like basically like you've given it for free.
So here's my question to that because all right, I love like, everything we're talking about. Okay, so to all the viewers out there, including myself, right? You live life. There's gray area. You live and you fucking learn, right? So where the fuck do we go from here? So do I play the shame game where everybody walks away a fucking loser? Because I can do that. I beat myself up my entire life for every decision I've ever made, right? It got me nowhere.
No.
So I value myself. I see the world differently through a series of events, right? So what the fuck comes next? Because that's where I'm confused, right? Because I'm not. It's like if you don't, if it's not like gifted to you, like even in your situation, like your dad provided you a life that like so many people would kill for, like you know what I mean? So that's why it's like. It sucks because the reason I hate these conversations is because it's never about like empathy. Do I understand the scales and how someone may view you for this, that, and the third? Okay, but
talking about
moving forward
1%
anyway. So okay, so I'm just gonna like make it about myself. I'm 30, single, mom. My fucking checkered past is all over Instagram. You know what I mean? I have people like you. She's a hoe. She's literally known for this. Okay. So what would be your advice to people like me then?
I don't really go gray area. I'll be black and white.
Okay, well that's unfortunate because yours is gray.
Well, no, I'll tell you what.
I just
There's great
to
life.
answer your question. I mean, I just think there's consequences for your decisions, and I just think like my best advice would be to like lower your standards, like that, because I just think there's going to be consequences for putting yourself on the internet.
Just
Okay,
lower
you
the
probably wanted
standards.
to, like, you got at 22.
Do you know what, sister?
It wasn't meant to be then.
Do you know what I'll tell you? I would say, because I'm 30 and I'm single out of a situation that actually is not because I was a hoe and I was doing whatever. People can't call me that. I made the bad decision to be with somebody that hurt me alone and stayed for 5 years. I came out super late. And do you know what I realized? What I learned is that I know now that I have to be selective and I have to think. If me taking longer to get to that stage is what it takes, then that's what it takes. You accept your future, you accept everything with gratitude, because as long as you're breathing, that's the most important thing. At least you've got your child. I am not afraid because I know the quality of woman that I am. I know my values regardless of whether I'm 30, 40, 50. Do you understand? So you don't be afraid by other people's time limits and limitations and all of these things. Because it actually doesn't matter. And I'll tell you why.
No, but your value goes down as you get
No,
older.
that's according to you.
Like, no, but I'm saying to men, and you have to understand your buyer.
I'll tell you why. Because since Mr. Andrewtate explained something about status, I understand very well what that actually means. And as a woman, the quality and the value that I hold for myself is actually the kind of value and quality that a man will appreciate the status it will bring to him, whether or not I'm a virgin. Because I've worked on myself to be a woman of quality and substance. I respect myself and I handle myself as such. Okay? And that is the way that you're going to actually overcome all of these bad mistakes that you've made, because who you are right now actually will make a difference if you stick to it and if you mean it and if you've always been that way. There's always another story for everybody. It doesn't matter. You'll be fine. You respect somebody that's more emotionally mature.
You know, I would say to you.
What are you about to say, because you just started speaking.
I was going to say.
Andrew, she said.
I want to hear. I really because you've been through a lot in your life. When she told me that you were going to be on, we were going to be on this panel together. I started watching a bunch of your videos, and it really was like there's so much that you have been through, which is why you have a well of wisdom, right? And the difference between me and you is that you're glorified for it, and I am burned at the stake for everything that I've been through. And it's so funny because people have always said that we were two sides of the same coin, as far as like, well, if Andrewtate gets banned, but you're going to get banned, because we are all about accountability and fucking truth, right?
Yep.
Okay, so you've been through a lot. I've been through a lot. I'm seen as used good. You're seen as a high value man.
Yep.
So if you're me, then what? What's next?
Yeah, it's really interesting. It's interesting you make the observation, and you are correct. That's the difference between the masculine and the feminine. It's unfair, I guess. The world's not fair, but that's the difference between the masculine and the feminine. Men are respected for going through things and surviving, and women are the complete opposite. They're shamed for going through things and surviving. If you look at women love scars on men for a reason. He's gone through something.
They're war wounds.
Yeah, men don't want a chick covered in scars. I'll say this right now, that a woman, the more trauma she goes through, the more masculine she naturally becomes. And if you were to give me my ideal woman, I would not want her to have a hard life and a bunch of trauma. I like the idea of her having a soft feminine life and being a soft person, and I can take care of her and protect her. Whereas as a man, to be a good man, you need to have been through a bunch of trauma, because if you haven't been through trauma as a man, you're a weakling. You have to have been through a bunch of shit. So the masculine and the feminine is a very interesting point there. As for I don't know.
Masculine should have trauma.
People like me, I guess, under the same umbrella.
Okay, I don't know either, but we'll give generalizations. One of the main reasons that men are scared of a female with history is because it makes the man insecure. And scared dogs bite. So this is why men will snap or get angry quick, or they'll bring up your, if you get an argument with them, bring up your history, whatever. But a lot of it is insecurity, and it's not insecurity because the man is insecure. The women, the female paradigm in society convinces men, any man who says anything, you're insecure. It's not insecure in that way. It's insecure in a very realistic, logical way. Like I was saying earlier, she had a lot of life experience. Let's be honest. Am I the richest guy she's ever had? No. Am I the most famous guy she's ever had? No. Am I the best looking guy she's ever had? No. Like, what's keeping her here? And then part of it comes down to, well, am I second place? If she could do better, would she do better? Like, there's a whole bunch of insecurity involved, and that's where tiny things, like I'm talking, I know it sounds like dumb shit, tiny things about the favorite car brand become more important than ever, right? It's your job as a woman, regardless of how much sexual history you've had or what guy you're with, etc. It's your job as a woman to make your man feel secure in the fact and make him feel like a man. Like Auntie was saying, make him feel like the man, no matter what he does, so that he feels like you really truly believe he's the best choice for you on the planet. That's your job to do. Now, if you've got a checkered past, that's perhaps more difficult. You need to be more tactful with it, more tactical about it. But you have to achieve the same result. You have to do the exact same thing, right? So yeah, it's easy for me if I get a 21-year-old virgin from some village in Slovakia and I'm multi-millionaire Andrewtate. Of course, it's a very easy. She's never had better. She'll never get better. She's never been anywhere. Boom, boom, easy one, right? But like you said, the world's not so idealistic. The reality is that people have relationships, etc., etc. But a man is happiest in a relationship when he feels like man in the house and when he truly feels like you believe he's the best man that you could possibly ever get and have ever gotten. Because a man is jealous. I'll tell you something. I used to say this to girls as like a joke. And I used to say, no, I said this to her, so you cheated on me before I met you. And she'd be like, what do you mean? I didn't even know you. I was like, yeah, you fucked that guy before I even knew you. You cheated on me. And they used to laugh, whatever, but that's how men think. That's the male mind. Like, I love you, and you've been fucked by who? But I didn't know you. I don't care if you knew me. You should have waited.
Jealous ending.
That's the male mind. So he is in competition with all of your exes and all of your lifestyle and all the things you've done permanently. And it's down to you as a woman to sit there and go, how do I make him secure in himself and secure in his
Permanently,
mind? Is still worthwhile because I still truly value him.
Excellent.
I hope that gives some clarity, but that's the answer.
So you know what I would have said? I would have said, oh, for anybody in that situation, come off social media and
That's
just reach
it.
out. So the
You
person
mean like you sound them.
I never knew you. I never knew who you were because I've never heard of you before. So when I spoke to you, by the way you're saying like what's on the internet, let me say you're a nicer person than what you sound like what you perceive to be. Like you were saying, oh, there she's a whore, she's a whore, and I've heard the name, but I don't know anything about you. And I was saying that if you didn't have nothing on social media about your checkered past and you met somebody the same way how I met you and I conversed and I got to know you is the same way that they would.
Yeah, and it is interesting, and it's also back to the masculine and feminine, right? Because I'm all over the internet, and supposedly I'm misogynist and I'm evil and all this crap, right? But if I meet a girl, even if she disagrees with me, in fact, I'll say this: I've never ever met a single female who's ever come up to me and disagreed with me. Every woman comes up to me and loves what I says. But let's imagine I met this imaginary girl, she was sitting me, and if I were to have a 10-minute conversation with her, by the time I explain the levels to which they tried to destroy me, how they tried to freeze all my bank accounts, raise illegal charges against me, put me in jail for things I didn't do, put a travel ban, take my passport, all this garbage. By the time I explain how hard they tried to hurt me and failed, she'll want me because she'll be like, you can't kill this guy, and that's gonna be it. So like, you say a bunch of shit I don't like, but you know what? You're the man. So it is about experience and it is different, and that's a really good point about social media. Social media amplifies all of this shit. It amplifies all these problems. Everything we're discussing, everything we discussed back to the beginning, to promiscuity, to your past, it's all social media. Without social media, a lot of it goes away.
Yeah, that's why me and my man love so long is that he doesn't do social media and there's nothing on there about me.
I feel like to answer your question too, because I have had people say that as a solution, and it's like you can run, but you cannot hide from the truth. And I have shared that why my voice has been so impactful and will continue to be impactful is because I have put myself out there and I have been punished for being honest. So it's like I have been given a platform and a voice for a reason. Even sitting down in this conversation thinking there's not one person I'm probably going to agree with and probably going to want to leave, I've been called here for a reason. So it's like I can't go against what is in my heart and what I am coded to be, and that's why I feel like it's important for me to sit here and represent people who feel like me, because it's like I don't want to say that. I just feel like I don't see a lot of women under my umbrella who feel the way that I feel. I don't see opinion shared that would be worded the way that I feel. Nothing. I feel like a lot of my thoughts are very unique, and it's kind of scary because I have been through different things. I see the world in a different place, and when I even speak online, people think I'm fucking speaking Swahili.
Yeah,
so it's like
I know exactly what you're saying, and you're making good points. And it's just I think that regardless of whether like we're talking about different positions, I compare everything to chess. I don't know. We're looking at different positions on the chessboard, but the rules are still the same, right? No matter how bad your position is or how good your position is, you're still trying to achieve the same objectives. And you want the man to get high status, and you want the man to feel secure in himself. And I think it's very difficult. I can only talk from the male perspective because I'm a man. It is very difficult if I meet a woman who I liked very much, but she had X whatever, passed away, whatever. My concerns would be, how do I know that I'm still the number one? How do I know I'm most important in her life, especially if I don't measure up in certain key metrics? And two, the second thing that's most scary for men is we understand that men are constantly after what we have. Like your inboxes are all full. Like they may not be with guys you want to reply to, but guys are still trying to get it. That's the male life. The male life is people are trying to take everything from me, and that's very scary. And you have to make your man really believe like that's impossible. If a man truly believes that nobody can take you from him, he's going to love you in a different way. You can give me two carbon copies of the same chick, but one I think might cheat in the right circumstances, and one I know no matter what would never leave me. The love I'll feel for this one is a different planet to the love I feel for this one. Even though the same person, right? Because that's every man's biggest fear is a woman cheating or leaving, because there's something visceral and something different about it. I know like men can do things and women can't, all this stuff, but like if a woman cheats on a man, that hurts the man at a level that it doesn't hurt the woman if the man cheats on her. It's different. It's different biologically. It's different evolutionarily. Like that's what men used to fight and die over. You talk to my chick. You look at my chick. Yeah, it's like you demasculinize him on every level. Like, and this is why you see these TikToks, right? You see these TikToks. Me and my man went on a break, go out back together. He fucked 20 girls, and now he's crying because I went on a date. Yes, completely yes. Because the damage level is different. It's just a different thing. So you have to understand the paradigms. You have to understand how to play the game, and that's how you make men happy. And I know very well how I like to believe. I would know very well how to make a woman happy. And I know, and whether I do that or not is a conscious decision. And that's where you get to a certain level of grandmastery, where if I get a woman, I will literally decide out of 10 how happy do I want her. Does she deserve to be happy 10, or should I keep her like crying half the time? But it's very conscious, and women don't think that way. But I'm saying if you're smart, if you're a cunning woman, you could be like that. You could be a bit more like, you know what?
Yes,
I want you to infatuate with me. This guy ain't worth the time. That guy I want. And then when you're gonna do that, just like the game of chess, if you play chess, it's not big games, it's that time you argue about your favorite car. It's time you disagree about your favorite band. It's the dumb shit that adds up. Whereas really, truthfully, if you're truly smart about the game, you can get him to a point after a few months where he's like, she's my soulmate. She loves everything I love. We think the same. Our hearts are connected. Boom. And then you're safe. Just don't fuck it up from there.
But I just feel like it's so contradicting to I feel like what your overall message is, which is about truth. So it's like if my truth, like if it can be destroyed by the truth, it should be destroyed by the truth. So that's what I'm trying to figure out. Like why it's really mind-boggling to me, because I feel like how could you even be mentally, emotionally, sexually stimulated by a woman who is just agreeable? You know, it doesn't have her own mind. I just don't see that.
That is exactly what every man wants. We don't want you to be complete robots. We're not saying we can't have a joke with you. We can't say we can't have a laugh with you. We're not saying we can't have a personality. But when it comes to things like agreement, there is not a single man in the world who's going to say she's too agreeable. She just agrees with me on it. She agrees with me on all the important things in my life. She's too agreeable. I want someone else. Fuck no. You're completely wrong on that point. It's a huge point. This idea that I understand if you're a complete doormat and you set the standards. I'm talking about agreeability and agreeableness as a whole. Men love the idea of an agreeable woman because it gives status and it makes the man feel like he's a teacher, and makes the man feel in charge, and it satisfies his ego. And to you, they may be small little tiny points, but to him, they're a big deal. If I were to sit, I'm telling you right now, if I were to sit with one of my chicks or whatever, my chick, and I were to sit in a Lambo and say, Lambo's the best car of all of them, I prefer Lambo. She goes, I don't like that one. Like, listen, I bought them all, and I fucking said it's the best one. Shut up. It would annoy me because that's my reality. I want to become part of my reality. It's the thing. It's interesting because the truth of your heart and the truth of your soul is to be happy. That's truth. Truth is for you to end up happy. Now, if you have to sit there and agree on a
just lie, I guess.
Right? If it's something you care about and you are very knowledgeable about. If it's ancient Roman history and you have a degree in ancient Rome, then fine, argue the point. But if it's cars or something you don't even give a shit about, well, yeah, you're missing the chance to get points on the scoreboard, easy free throw, and you're just fucking it up, going, why? What? The truth is just play the game and win.
Andrew could be the best female dating.
Or just learn a couple of words like how many talks horsepower.
Yeah,
just throw some words in. How much horsepower has it got?
Tate, with all due respect, not all men are like
just
that.
lie, I guess.
I know you and the type of men that you're speaking on behalf of,
Let me tell you
like
something.
a woman that will just be so agreeable.
Just want to go men, so
I can make decisions.
Submissive women have their own mind.
Yeah, completely.
There's sometimes that you might be discussing stuff that you might want to be discussed, and there's sometimes we're like, shut the fuck up and let me say what I've got to say.
Yes,
and maybe I don't even believe in star signs, but my man's Sagittarius, so I always logical stuff and feelings and emotions, and no, you don't cry about shit. Shut up, get on with it. Your head's big, go on with it.
Completely. And submissive women have their own mind. But this is something else you have to take into consideration, and this is super important, super true. The reason a lot of women don't truly understand a lot of things about relationships and how it works with men, etc., is because men will lie to you. Men lie for the same reason you wear makeup, because men fall in love with what they see, men fall in love with what they see, and women fall in love with what they hear. So we will lie to you. So you'll go on a date with a guy, and you'll sit there and say, I don't listen to no, I'm independent, And what's that man gonna say?
Oh, I love that.
That's exactly the kind of woman I want. Come suck this. It's a fucking lie. That is not what he wants. It's not what he wants. I'm telling you.
He wants it now.
Yeah, he can't be bothered to argue with you at dinner.
Okay, good.
And you know what? Most men aren't smooth enough to do it. I can sit with a chick and disagree with her and be funny enough and smart enough and charismatic enough and I'm high status enough and she respects me enough to listen. But if I'm just a normal dude and I start arguing with a chick, she's gonna bounce on the dinner and say fuck you.
Yeah.
See ya. So most dudes' dating strategy, most dudes' mating strategy is just pure agreement. Yeah. Anything to get the puss. They're fucking dorks. That's fine. That's the truth, right? A real Jew will sit there and say, I don't want to hear this shit. Okay. I'm telling you the baseline of how men truly function. If I'm expected to fight and die to protect you, because that's what's expected of me by society and of you. You may think you don't expect that of me, but if we're walking down through London in the middle of the night and two guys come up with machetes, you're gonna hide behind me, knowing I'm gonna die, because I can't win this fight. I'm expected to die to protect you. Well, then I expect you to agree with me. I'm not here to fucking die for someone.
Just die, I guess.
That's not what I'm here to fucking.
That's
I have
just
the
stupid.
obligation to die on the spot for you. You have the obligation to pretend you like BMWs. So do your fucking part and shut up. And that's the bottom line.
And you know the difference is the only difference. Like he's top G. The only difference between him and my man and the level of respect is money. That's the only difference. And this is the same way he talks, the same way he is. But people say like, oh, my man only owns 40,000, so he can't talk to me the way Andrewtate talks to his. Why not?
Completely.
And I think money is a big factor. You can't have a woman that's paying her own bills. She's doing everything for herself.
I mean, she's a man.
And then you're gonna tell her, oh, do this. But you're different. She doesn't need to work. You take all that stress away from her. Then she'll be a lot more.
Why does money have to matter for submission?
If you have money to make sure that she doesn't need to work, go and deal with her boss every day, then of course she's going to look up to you and be like, oh, okay, he pays my bills.
My man only about 40,000. I
just never, I grew up in a 1% family. I never expected a dude to pay for everything. I don't know.
I don't.
Both my parents worked, but my mom still submitted to my dad. Like it wasn't.
The point is this: in every relationship that's beautiful, every relationship that's happy, regardless of the socioeconomic regardless of how famous they are, regardless of how whatever, in every relationship where people are truly happy, pay attention. The man is in charge. He's the top G of that house. His woman makes him feel that way. She respects him for what he does, and they're happy. We're talking about me out here in the world, social media, whatever. It doesn't matter. Every man wants to be the man of his household, the king of his castle. Every single happy relationship is the same. I genuinely implore you to name a happy relationship where the woman's in charge. Name one. You can't. They end up broken up. Fucking she leaves him. Whatever. Name a happy relationship where the woman doesn't blindly say, okay, I'll work with her.
I guess he doesn't
There's only
know.
one framework in which people are happy. With the man in charge, the woman trusts and respects him enough to let him be in charge, and they're a happy couple in a relationship. Any other type of relationship is a time bomb to the end. So if you want a happy relationship, that's what you should be aiming for. You need to be perspicacious enough and think about these things and sit and go, well, that's the only way relationships work. So I need to build it that way. Instead of coming along and believe you're going to reinvent the wheel.
Okay, so I want to hit one more topic because we're running out of time. So I want to actually give the ladies a chance to say, what do you guys disagree with from the red pill and men-centric content?
Can I go first?
No.
I'm submissive though.
No, Brittany can go first.
I'm not really familiar with all of the topics. I'm assuming like the stuff that you guys talk about and consider the red pill. It's not even like about like disagreeing. I think I can respect someone's point of view and understand where that truth exists for a lot of people. And I just feel like, okay, cool. Like, I don't know. I don't really disagree. It's just a perspective on life. I'm not here to be like, you're wrong for thinking like that. You're wrong for categorizing, using this scale, using that. Like, it's a perspective. It's valid. And I totally see certain angles. Like, there's a lot of stuff that was said. I mean, there's so many people on this panel. It's hard to talk, but it's like, there's a lot of things I said, okay, maybe I don't agree with just because, again, my walk of life and what I've seen and how I feel and how I choose to be empathetic towards people, regardless of whatever they've been through. But I don't really.
So it's more for you, it's the lack of empathy sometimes.
Yeah, I think that's probably it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna let Esther go.
Talk.
See, what I don't really agree with is the incel culture of men feeling like they're entitled to a woman. A lot of men don't look good. They don't got money. They don't do anything for themselves, and they expect women to want to have sex with them, women to want to be with them. Why should she want to be with you? Why?
Let me ask you a very important question. Those delusional men, do they sleep with women?
Of course not.
Okay.
But they get angry. You see them in Pearl's comments. Oh, she's a modern woman. It's like, no,
Okay.
she doesn't want you because you are a lowlife. Get over it. Go to the gym. Go work on yourself. Go out and get a job. Go and get some money.
The red pill
They just cry about it.
That's what most of the men-centric content tells guys to do. Go to the gym, get your money up, that sort of thing. Learn game.
No, but that's not what they're doing. What they're doing is saying, oh, women are delusional. Oh, women want this.
Why?
No, women know what they want. If you want those women, go and do what they want. And then you'll be chosen.
You don't have to worry about the men that aren't getting laid and all the women are ignoring. Okay, yeah, YouTube comments. But besides YouTube comments, they have no voice in society and they don't exist and nobody gives a shit, right? So this is what I was saying earlier about reality slaps men in the face and shows them their place very quickly. Because all these men, reality is showing them their place. There are women who are disagreeable and unlikable and doing wrong things and acting badly and fucking up how to make a man man attracted to them, and they're not being slapped in the face by reality because they're still ending up with a partner. So this is the point we're trying to make here. I agree. I know what you're saying about red pills, a whole bunch of bitter, hateful guys. I agree with that.
Yes, can I just drop another comment? When I came on your show, they were in my DMs. I'm thinking, do you not have things to do with your life? Like the fact that you sit on personal comments and come into my social media and then explain my DMs. Like you really have nothing to do
Were
with
they
that.
hitting on you, or were they?
Oh no, they were calling me Miss Andress.
Some girls get hit on even after they insult.
Oh, they were calling me Miss Andress because of the fact that like we just don't want you. Like get over it.
Well, that's just the internet though. Like, I get death threats. I get like people insult me.
Yeah, but it's not good enough.
I just think like you go on the internet, duh. Like yeah, you're gonna get insulted on the internet.
But it's obviously quite hard, especially when you're receiving a lot of hate from all men.
It's true.
I've had hundreds of videos made on TikTok. Like I go after my appearance. It happens to me like every single day.
Wait, she's a Pisces. She's a Pisces.
You called somebody a whale. That is a big insult.
One, I called her a whale after she attacked me. After she attacked me, she knocked the mic out of my hand. She called me a slag. I didn't know what that meant at the time. Okay, I had no idea what that meant. She called me a slag, put the mic out of my hand. So of course I'm gonna call her a whale. You attacked me first. That's what they never talk about. You got called a whale because you attacked me.
I missed a good episode or something.
No, it was a street interview, and this girl, she like knocks the mic out of my hand, and they're pulling her back. You slag, and I was like, you're effing whale. But it was like that was a response. I've never called someone on my show a whale individually.
But when I come on your show, you were quite rude to me. I'm not gonna lie. No, I'm not gonna lie. The way you conduct your show today was great. Today was great. But when I was on your show last time, you were like, why you talk too much? I'm thinking, who is this woman talking to me like that? I'm not a child. But that's the thing.
Because you kept interrupting everybody the whole show.
No,
that's what happened. You kept
interrupting.
because I'm the host.
She can interrupt
So today it's like we have a big guest.
That's a terrible host right there.
You're just a normal guest. And normal guests, we don't let dominate the entire conversation.
I wasn't dominating the conversation.
You probably talked 70% of the time. And so I have to interrupt you and stop you because you're talking and nobody else in the room had a chance. And nobody else in the room had a chance. I understand I interrupt people, but that's part of your job as a host is to control the conversation. And if anything, I probably control the conversation less than I should compared to most hosts.
No, but I think it's
I
the way
don't
that you
think
were
he interrupted at all.
like the next person talk. You were like, why are you talking to me? That is so rude.
Because we had tried
Person
multiple times to
talk.
tell you nicely. Multiple times to tell you nicely, and it just kept escalating.
That is not true. I think you're trying to gaslight me right now because that's not true. The thing is, you didn't agree with what I was saying, and then you and Auntie resorted to insults. That's the reason. But that's the reason I'm saying I'm not coming for you right now because you know what? It's your show. But what I'm trying to say is,
You're coming for us. No, open your mouth.
No, listen. What I'm trying to say. What I'm trying to say is,
how was I rude to you? No, how was I rude to you? Why you call my name? How was I rude to you?
But you were rude.
How was I rude?
You were rude.
This is just my point of view. You told a story where you said, you didn't say
You're too nice about it, Pearl. You're saying too nice. Listen, right?
You
come on the show, right?
Okay,
Okay, right now.
just
You come
move
on the
on,
street.
Pearl.
You come down. You come on
You
here.
sound like a hooligan. Please just
Listen,
slow down.
if I sound
Calm
like a
down.
don't tell me about calm down, right?
You're shouting at me. Why are you shouting at me?
Hang on. I heard Mr. Tate talking, right, with passion, right? And now I had no way to calm down, right? You're there shouting off your mouth, right? I am being loud. I am being loud. Don't tell me about calm down because when he was talking, who was you screeching at? Listen, right, as far as I'm concerned, don't even think about coming on Pearl's show and disrespecting her. You've done it already, and then you're coming here to do it again. Pearl wasn't rude to you.
She was
right? Pearl wasn't rude to you. You know why? Because it's the truth, not your truth, not your truth. Because at the end of the day, it's all out there. If you don't know what a woman is, and you can't say what a woman is, you're actually a bully. You're actually a bully. Because why? You can't let your age or speak like that.
This is annoying.
Stop. Okay.
All right, guys, let's take a second to hear from our channel sponsor as much as we're able to. 7 alerts.
Let's go back to the topic. Your disagreement with the red pill.
Oh, so the incel culture.
You don't like the bad comments. Okay.
No, not the bad comments. The fact that they just feel entitled. When women say what they want, they feel so entitled that women need to change that. It's like, no, women like what they like. Just like a man likes a woman that looks good, a woman that cooks, a woman that's younger. Like you said, someone that's not been traumatized, that's not been through so much experience. Like, we don't cry about it, you know?
Yes, we do.
Do you know women do that?
Yes, wait. I need to stop you there. Yes, we do. What is body positivity? What is slut shaming? We do cry about it. And we cry about it loud on every social media platform. We do.
Yeah, but
wait, I'm just going to give you an equivalent. There's no short man shaming. No, you don't hear the men crying about that.
Women do cry about it.
No, they don't.
Yes, they do.
Do you see short men being pushed to be on the cover of magazines? Where they say we need more short men, short male models.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Where they're putting plus size women on the cover of magazines.
Tom Cruise is short as
I think he's like 5'8" to 5'10", which is average actually. Like most women don't. Only 50% of men over 6 foot.
But I think everyone should be positive about what they have. Like, you know what? If you don't have money, like, own it. Be happy with yourself. Just because a woman doesn't want you, that's okay.
It's fine. I agree with you, but I'm saying like men have to deal with the consequences. Like an average chick can still sleep with an NBA player. Who's
That's
top
not true.
That's it.
I'll give you an example. Okay.
You still
I've
listen
had
out.
guys on that level message me. I think I'm an average chick. I would never in my right mind think that any of them would take me like.
But you're rich.
Men don't care about your money. No, they don't.
She's rich and privileged.
She's from a rich background. So then see it, like,
I'm saying men don't care about your money. So
some men do. Some do.
Bums care about your money. I personally don't like bums. That's just not my thing. That might be your thing.
Okay. You got a high value man.
I'm not saying high value. I'm saying I don't like guys that don't have jobs. Just.
Can I just say something? It's going to shock everybody. I would like to hear what the novel's got to say now.
It's comparing it as an experience.
Okay, cool. Question was again, sorry.
What do you disagree with from the red pill?
What I disagree with the red pill movement is the fact that it fails to understand that it has extreme limitations because you focus a lot on the extremities of things. And I will revert that back to me. I don't think the red pill addresses the fact that there were a lot of housewives that were left widowed quite young and therefore had no choice but to step up in transition into a strong and evolved modern woman. And I say that because my dad passed away when I was 12 and I didn't have a man in my life to be able to show me the way. Not only because there's really just not many men in my life, because my mum focused her energies and efforts into raising us and providing for us because she didn't have a man. And I don't think it would be fair to even expect my mum to, when we were all 12, 13, 14, to go and find a new man, because actually that creates even more issues within the home for us to accept him, especially because we had a close relationship with my dad. With that said, what the red pill movement fails to address, empathize with, and look for solution is for all the women and the men that come from these sort of homes where actually it is not your fault that you are a product of your environment. So when you're telling me about housewife, you're masculine, this, that, I have to say, my mom raised 4 daughters on her own. By my age, she had 4 of us, moved freshly to the UK. Of course she's going to hustle. Of course I'm going to go through education. Of course I'm going to work. Of course I'm going to have to be strong with myself because there's no man to protect me. So because I've had this sort of background, I've had this sort of experience, people tell me your traumas make you less likable, or maybe you're too masculine as a woman. No, I am a survivor of a woman actually because I didn't have men around me. And I am actually, again, also capable of being a wife. I know how to cook. I know how to actually speak to my man, please him verbally and physically.
So what's the disagreement?
And I'll explain to you the submission side of things where I've actually the whole show I've proved that without having any friction with Andrewtate. As much as you may even say that I may not be desirable, I come up with my own solutions where I don't have to compromise who I am. I can still please you as a man. You told me your favorite car is that one, even though I like that one. I'm like, do you know what? I like that one, but looking at yours, yours is really nice too, you know? I really like you. You got good taste. It's that simple. What people are failing to do with the red pill movement is to understand that there can be a compromise. Because I've had to compromise my life as a woman to be able to survive because I didn't have a man.
Okay, you think the red pill doesn't agree with believe in compromise?
No, it doesn't deal with the victims of society, of situations that it's just life.
Okay. Do you have any points for them? Both of those?
Yeah, I can talk about the red pill. I can complain about it too. I think there is, to be fair, I do think there is a lot of angry, bitter men which are attracted to it, and those are the ones that will leave these stupid comments. My point was my point is that they're already being punished by God and by society, so don't worry about it. My point is that if a woman doesn't act correctly, she doesn't feel the true sting of punishment. Not in her prime years. She may feel it later, but in her prime years, it doesn't fucking even matter, which is why they do it. Whereas if a man doesn't have a shit in order, trust me, he knows very well because his reality sucks, and that's why he's sending you DMs because he's lonely. Because if he had a life, he wouldn't bother, right? So there's that part of it. It does attract a lot of angry, bitter people, but I think that's because life's very difficult as a man, like we said earlier, and some of the men are angry and bitter. The answer to all things, I believe, whether you're a man or you're a woman, to try and heal all rifts between genders, I think whether you're a man or you're a woman, the answer to all things in life is to take absolute and utter self-accountability for all the good and all the bad. You must look at yourself and realize everything good that happened in your life is your fault, and everything bad that happens in your life is completely your fault. And with that, having that high degree of absolute accountability, it doesn't matter even if it rains outside, I blame myself because I didn't have to be in London, right? I could have stayed in Dubai and it wouldn't have rained. So I'm responsible for absolutely everything. And if you do that, you pay attention to things and you try your very best to mitigate the negative circumstances and work your hardest, you're gonna have a pretty good life. I just want to finish by saying that I believe that men and women are best as a team. I don't think any woman will be truly happy with a man, and I certainly know that no man will be happy with that woman. I think it's absolutely beautiful when we work as couples and we create families and we stick to our strengths. When men stick to what they're good at and a woman sticks to what they're good at, that makes them the most powerful team on the planet. And the world we're living in now, we have society propagandas which are trying very hard to divide and split the genders, but truthfully, the power and the beauty of the universe relies on us working together. So it's been very nice speaking to you, ladies.
Doesn't want to split the gender. What?
I was going to say, give this man an origin. This is my life.
There's men in that now.
Oh, okay, we got Melon. But yeah, all in all, I think it's good, and I also think that discussion is very, very important. And I think that a lot of these issues are delicate and are nuanced, and people listening to conversations like these and hearing the different points of view and understanding each other is a fantastic way to progress. And we're entering brand new territory, and it's never been done before. And perhaps you can call me old-fashioned. I don't think it's going to be as good as it was in the olden days, but we're going to find out. So interesting.
Okay, thank you guys all for coming. We'll do a little round of applause for the panel. So why don't we go around, and any final thoughts, any social media you want to plug, you can do it now. So start here and go around.
I mean, I'm good.
Okay.
You're right, no shit. I have more like a request. Is that okay? Could you say my name, please?
I can't pronounce it.
Dinalva. That's it.
Dinalva.
Top G. Dinalva and Andrewtate.
Dinalva.
Sagittarius team representing.
Okay.
Follow me on the gram, Dinalva.ao. He said the name, so you know it's legit. Thank you, Pearl.
My final thoughts, with just reflecting on everything we've been speaking about, I just think men and women, we need to listen to each other. I picked up a lot on what Tate was saying about how women need to be a bit more agreeable, make their man feel like he's the only one. Agreed. But also, men need to listen to women as well. She needs to feel protected.
Yeah,
She
that's
needs to feel
true.
you're going to be there. You're not going to leave her for another woman.
Only
She needs to
one-sided
feel secure.
conversation.
Like, can we all just listen to each other and what we want in each other? And that's the only way we can strengthen the family unit. That's what I have to say. And please follow me, Esther, your Nigerian queen.
Auntie, you want to go and then you go?
See this lady. Are you okay, auntie? You're right.
I'm cool. I just think that my final thoughts. When it's out there, it's out there. You said it. That's how I feel. And yes, we've all been through trauma. I'm sick of hearing about it. I don't mind if you've got trauma you don't know. But if you know you've got trauma, sort it out. I don't want to hear about it. Call me like a empathy. No, just like a bullshit. You know you've got trauma, sort it out. And
Yeah, doesn't want to hear about that.
sometimes women need to spend too much time talking. Because I'm sure that half of what Mr. Tate said was totally lost or mixed around or misunderstood. And I don't give a shit if anybody thinks I'm rude. This is where I am, and if you don't like it, it's tough because I'm changing. My final thoughts.
Tell them to subscribe to your YouTube. She just hit 15,000. I made your YouTube channel.
Yeah, and yeah, Auntie Jenny, American spelling with the Y, Jenny, YouTube. Instagram is nothing on this. Don't go on Instagram.
Tell them about your call-in show.
Oh yeah, and I have a calling show. And I'd like to have a calling show. The next one. Women can phone in and disagree with anything I've said. Anybody that wants to phone in and disagree, phone in live, disagree with me, I'll take it. Whatever you disagree with me on, I'm going to have a disagreement show. Phone up and disagree with me. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. Because I can do it. Because I'm a female OG. I learned that the other day.
Doesn't sound very
I learned
agreeable.
that the other day.
Andrew, do you have anything else you want to plug?
Yeah, my Instagram. Oh wait, I'm banned. my YouTube. I'm banned. My Facebook banned. I'm on MySpace. Anyone got MySpace? Don't ban me. Find me on
Oh,
MySpace.
banned.
No,
Rumble.
I'm on Rumble. Yeah, I was about to say I'm on Rumble, which is better than YouTube in every way. Sorry, YouTube.
Surely.
Rumble.com/takespeech and the website's CobraTake.com. But
Rumble,
I
huh?
can't avoid your face on Instagram or TikTok anyway, so it doesn't matter if I'm banned because I'm still around. But CobraTake.com. I recommend people, if you like what I say, I have a free email list. Sign up to the free email list. I send an email every single day about different topics. Some for the guys, some for the girls, but they're all on.
Okay, thanks for sending.
Okay, thank you guys all for coming.
No, it's a good
Guys,
conversation.
like the video on your way.
It's been a long video, so I guess I'll end the video there.